yeah, it's a very good addition, or at least kind of adaptation.
Yeah, and he is going up against the best mid in the world. There was a time, AY, where Miracle was the best mid in the world. All right? All right?
MMR, you mean?
Yeah, I think so.
Probably.
I think that was a good
I mean, at that point,
No,
we
yeah.
didn't have every region playing in the same
I'm
region.
sure
So
he was probably the highest in the world at some point.
At
It was
some
a
point,
miracle.
for sure.
And even if he wasn't the highest MMR,
people would consider
for sure
being the best.
I mean, maybe him and Sumail at that time, but they were definitely in contention.
So is this what this series is about? You know, the winner just gets to have the bragging
I
rights?
think so. Although nothing to say, he is top MMR, like actual physically top MMR of Europe.
Yeah, but does MMR really matter, guys? Like,
it's just a number.
it's just a number. Like, Al, you like unranked, don't you?
I do like Hunter.
There we go.
MMR does matter. It matters.
Oh, I'm trying to push the unranked scene.
It's like, oh yeah, the unranked scene's great, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
MMR matters in the sense that a lot of these pros are capable of being that high MMR, but it really shows how much work you have to put in to get there.
Yeah.
Plus, it's more of a it's bad if you can't get high MMR. Like, you might not need to be high MMR, but if you can't get it, that's bad for you as a pro. All the players on these teams, I feel like they know they're capable of getting those MMR points. They know, like, they're grinding games and they're coming in prepared for this match, I think.
The main thing is, like, a pub is basically a way to experience new things, right? And if you don't play pubs to the highest levels, you're not going to experience the high pace moments that can occur. Actually. So, like, if you're, let's say, an Invoker player, but you're playing up against like a Brood spammer, the spammer's gonna know more than like one pro playing it in one game in a scrim, right? So you're gonna learn so many more kind of interactions and things, and that's why I think pro teams that have these players who are always, you know, spending 10, 20 hours, you know, playing pubs, maybe not 20 hours, that was a very unrealistic number, but you get the idea. That alone is going to give you an edge over some teams.
It's sort of interesting that you're talking about hero spammers, because when I played in the pro scene more, oftentimes you would find a hero spammer to message because they would know how to play that specific hero better than you. They were worse at Dota at you. You had a better foundation, you had better overall skills. But if you talk to like a Brood spammer, he might know things about hero that you don't. He will know matchups, he will know how they want to play the map, stuff like this. And part of being a good pro player is being able to adapt to that. I think both the teams, the other thing that I like about them is how adaptable they've been in their draft. I mean, you talked about Nigma's flexibility, but it's the same on LGD, right? I think Ame, he's more of a hard carry player, but he has played heroes like Bloodseeker, more fighters, and they've looked good on
An
that.
Axe, a Doom.
Axe.
Definitely.
And he's enabling his team, right? He'll go to the jungle at 4 minutes. That's not like the hard carry mentality.
Yeah, that's a nice way of wording it. Yes, he's died twice in lane, but then he recovers, and then he has that amazing performance from those heroes.
Yeah, we're saying, we've been saying during the group stage that PSG LGD, I know they got two of the players, former wings. We've been saying that they have this wings flair where they do play everything under the sun and they don't have one set play style. Now that they're in the playoffs, do we still feel the same way? Have they changed anything up since groups?
I think they're very volatile in a good way in how they play. I think the best reference point is when they play up against Alliance in that game 1. Alliance had the Slark, and they were playing super aggressive. But the way PSG allowed their mid tower to fall, their top tier 1, their top tier 2, they gave away Roshan. So 18 minutes, you've lost 3 towers and a Roshan, you think the game's over, but they're basically strategically waiting for the game to get good for them. More things AFK farming, they win the game. So I think that style of just knowing exactly when the win condition is very scary in a team. And they can play like that, and they can play very fast. So yeah, Nigma, if they want to beat PSG today, they need to be like, they need to know exactly what beat to hit and just follow through. They cannot just like second guess themselves, because PSG will have a plan ahead.
Yeah, so far PSG has looked incredibly well, so has Team Nigma. They are the top 2 of the group stages. We've seen them a whole bunch of times. And I'm going to ask the question that has to be asked. You guys are in the unfortunate position for me to ask this question without seeing any kind of drafts. All we have to go off of is the results that we saw at the start of this playoffs, the results that we have seen in the group stages. They tied against each other at the start of the groups as well. But who do you favor?
Nigma.
Wow.
Oh, that was fast.
Yeah, that was incredibly fast.
For me, I think this might be a preview of our grand finals. I think these are the two teams playing the best in the tournament. Personally, I feel like I want to say LGD, but I don't really have any basis for it. I don't think I hate European teams, but maybe I do. I mean, Nigma are looking really good. It's just LGD, like how they play the map, it really appeals to me. They're always like reacting to the situation, reading their opponents. They're never static. They're never happy on the map. They'll make plays when they think it'll give them an advantage. It's just very smooth Dota, and I love it. But Yeah, so I mean, I'll just say LGD for that.
I mean, this is a very close series, so even though T obviously jumps on the Team Nigma train, yeah.
There was reason though, I can assure you.
Okay.
It simply was because I checked Mind Control when I was playing in his pubs.
Oh yeah.
Please, he played 5 times on this hero. What hero do you think it was?
Nature's Prophet.
Hey, there it is.
Wow.
And
this is something that I wanted to talk about because it's strange. It was strange to me to see earlier today EG pulling out the Nature's Prophet carry, and it worked obviously, right? But that's what they beat yesterday. So I feel like no ping, they awakened something in EG is like, hey, wait a second, this Nature's Prophet hero kind of good. Let's play it tomorrow in our elimination series, right?
Exactly.
And with this trend, I mean, it's surely going to get banned out. I feel like Nature's Prophet stock rising.
Again, when you only have 2 bans at the start of your draft, you don't really get to ban
Wait, you think they're going to first 2 in Nature's Prophet?
I mean, potentially.
Wow.
Realistically, that's like the wild option. Realistically, knowing Nigma, let's be real here, and proper drafting is a second phase. You know, C4 heroes.
It's
you
sort
pick
of a flex for them. I'm sure IOTW can play that hero.
Maybe.
Oh, for sure.
But I think
he plays everything under the sun.
No, he plays so many pubs. He can play every hero twice.
Like we spoke about it behind, and you were talking about how the importance of how PSG their mid lane, right, and how they take mid tier 1. The reason why I'm kind of excited about this game from Nigma is imagine if they're being more proactive and they're the ones taking this mid tower. Like Nigma's never lost their tower based off the desire of fighting first. And imagine if they fully subscribe to that idea. Like PSG, I don't think had to deal with that level of aggression where they haven't just had to fully mitigate that fight straight away. So, I'm Europe, you know. I won't lie, guys. I just want to see Nigma get to TI. All right. European bias.
Like that, yeah.
I think a lot of people would like to see that. Even PSG LGD fans, PSG LGD is already through.
Exactly. That's why this bias doesn't really matter. And I think, as well, got to be very honest here, being at this event, it humanizes the teams, right? Like, we spent so long online looking at the teams, like, just seeing the players walking past and, like, being able to just kind of feel the true energy they have. It's like, oh, I forgot this. And it's,
You don't want the full bloodbath European qualifiers?
I think
want to
it's
see
already
Nigma.
It's
already kind of
ready
like
a blood. You don't want to just add to the fire. Just
that's a good point, Aoi.
Don't get me wrong. I like
excited.
to see that, but then I like that bloodbath. But then I have to choose between that bloodbath and a TI with potentially teams missing. I want to see that bloodbath, but I want to see that bloodbath.
You're right,
yeah.
Nigma doesn't really meme on like social media. They're a little bit more kind of tame. So I think adding them to the bloodbath just means more Dota. You know, like in terms of social. Like imagine this was like Secret on the line here. Whatever, throw them into the fire. Let them fight it out with OG and get some more memes.
I will say, how Nigma's been playing, I think they deserve to be a TI.
Yeah,
same. Absolutely. And we talked a little bit about mid lane already, but I think there is a different matchup that I'm going to look at for this series. And I'm curious if you guys agree. Position 4, GH, I feel like has stepped it up big time this event, but Q, same story. And I feel like their hero pools are kind of similar as well, T.
Yeah, kind of like the Phoenixes and
what's the thing with Phoenix? I think there's like 5-1. 5-1 on Phoenix. I don't think LGD's lost a game on that.
They haven't lost yet. I think they're 7-0.
7-0.
Exactly, yeah. So this is... Yeah, a lot of the PSG wins have come off the back of like the sacrifice of Arme, but then the early dominance of Xingqiu, and then I think that's obviously the flip side as well for Nigma. It's the ability for Mind Control to be strong, but then it's GH really entering the game. So it is going to be, scrap off the mid lane. We don't care about MMR and number 1 players. We want to see the 4 players. No, we
care a little bit.
No.
Now that you mentioned the 4 players, I'm really interested to see how the team fights for the team will come in. I think Wyvern and Phoenix in particular. Also the Snapfire. I think you said LGD, 11-1 or something?
11-1, yeah.
Snapfire, like that's insane. All these team fight supports, they seem to be doing really well for both these teams, which means we're going to have some early team fights.
You just gave me a flashback to the last game Nigma played where they had this like above the top tier 2 fight where they were like cold embrace saving 1 but then died. That's giving me shivers.
Is that the one where Axe saved his call?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, waiting to
yeah.
That was a brilliant
But like
fight.
both of these teams have had those moments where like the team fights are so beautiful, it's like skin tingling. Because like so many players would just automatically go stun this guy, kill this guy, go next. But like just the beauty and just
very planned with very clear like captain systems. Like you can see they've built this up from the start, and like now you can like see the reward of all the work they put in.
Yeah, exactly.
You always need your fundamentals in Dota.
Yeah. You do need your fundamentals in Dota. I feel like these teams are fundamentals in Dota, which is why I really hope that Team Nigma makes it far in this tournament. As said though, PSG LGD already guaranteed TI. I feel like they are absolutely playing like they're not though.
You okay there, Aoi?
I just want to check.
I have asked time and time again. My supplier, I will tell you, it's trouble running a small ramen shop. The supplier is that's the bottleneck. I have requested teacups, a teapot, a carafe to pour water. All my customers, they're perched all the time.
Are you sure you can pour tea with the paw?
What are you talking about? This is a fully functioning paw. Are you paw shaming?
A little bit, yeah.
What?
Ooh.
I'm just saying.
I have a thumb.
What? We got a thumb.
I thought you only had this ability.
What? No.
Oh my! Again, they can't see this. We look like we're crazy, but I didn't realize you had the thumb action.
Okay,
Oh, wow.
back to the Dota. Though.
Yeah.
I think you're mentioning LGD's hunger.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's weird because I feel like Y and Faith Beyond, they were part of Wings. They won TI.
Yep.
But it's been a while, you know. They're feeling it.
It's not that. Well, okay. It's 2016. Right? Okay, that's 5 years ago.
That's a long time ago. We're
Wait,
old.
what was the prize pool in 2016?
High.
Yeah, but not this high.
Yeah, but like probably half what it's currently. You know,
That's true.
That's
not.
fair.
I don't feel like Chinese teams generally have the mentality that I feel like a lot of Western teams have, where they're like, oh, we're qualified for TI, we should be happy, we don't want to burn out. Like, they are going hard.
They go, of course.
Just culturally, like, they're okay being in team houses, like living together, working throughout the year. I don't know why it is. I think it's just a cultural difference, but I think they'll go ham in this tournament, and they won't think like, oh, this will affect us at TI somewhere. They just want to win it all.
And they're not superstitious, because I know you talked earlier about EG potentially being superstitious.
I feel like the Chinese players are probably superstitious, but in different ways.
Okay.
Like, superstition in Dota is weird. I mean, players have like weird rituals where like, oh, I brushed my teeth this way and we won that day, so I'm just going to do this for the rest of the tournament. It's very similar to sports.
Routine is very key, though.
Forgot to brush my teeth today. I'm never
I guess
gonna
I've
brush my
never
teeth
brushed
again.
it again.
That probably doesn't work that way. Were you superstitious?
I don't think so, because I don't really believe in that, but like, I would still do the same routine in the morning.
Yeah, routine's key.
Yeah.
Like,
Not
always
because, like, I think there's like a
Yeah.
outside force, but it just felt nice.
Would you walk under like a set of ladders or something? That's a very.
I mean, I don't want to
get.
die from someone falling on me, but I don't think I would care for the super.
That's more just common sense than anything else.
Yeah.
Alright, fair enough.
The players are soon ready for the draft. Don't worry. I mean, I do really like chatting to you all in my little ramen shop
Without tea.
without tea. I can serve you soy sauce.
I did pose this question to Rich, and he was like, "No." So I was like, "Oh, all right."
I can serve you oil.
That's yummy.
Yeah, we could.
I can serve you a mix of
You
both.
mix them together. It's actually banging with bread, so we could get something going there.
We don't.
Wait,
have
that's
bread.
no. I thought this was balsamic for a second. I
No,
forgot.
it's
That's
soy
not
sauce.
good.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah,
Oh,
my brain said balsamic, and then you said soy. All right, don't mix them together. That's
Don't do
terrible. I was going to ask a random question about Io, Owie.
Oh, I was thinking of that hero
So
too.
the only time that Nigma has played Io in this tournament so far is against Liquid and Secret,
Yeah,
because
they let them
European
through.
teams were silly enough to try and let it through
Yeah.
and say we can beat it. They lost to it. Do you think a team like PSG will change up the bans? Because it's like 21 bans of Io have gone through so far. against
Secret
Nigma.
beat the Isle, right? In the remake. I mean, they should have lost.
Oh,
that
in the
game.
remake,
In the
sure.
remake, they did.
They
That's
should have
true,
lost
yeah.
that game, but
Yeah.
they did end up beating it. But it was scary the first
I
time.
speak pre-remake.
Specifically, the first time you see that hero, because it hasn't been banned against any other team or played, it's terrifying. I think that could be a huge draft advantage going in for Nigma against them. I mean, you have the double Holy Locket. I saw them tether Ursa, double Holy Locket to Wisp. I think it was like 2,000 healing.
And they had that concept as well when they played Ench Wyvern, because they had Ench with Locket Mech, then they had the Wyvern, of course, called Embrace, Shard, all the abundance of heal. So
I wonder, like, Spear Vessel feels a bit weak right now, right?
yeah, a
I
lot of
wonder
teams aren't buying it.
is it just that's making this double? Maybe it's just the numbers on Holy Lock are so strong.
I need to see mid heroes think could buy it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what role can buy it. For your two active.
I feel like it has to be your 4 or 3. I think when you buy out of these like Ember Spirits or Kunkas from the middle lane, it doesn't feel good.
Okay.
Is it fair to say that Team Nigma was the first to really popularize the Holy Locket and the multiples of the Holy Locket? I feel like that's the first team that I noticed it on, and I also feel like PSG LGD has done so many different things that both of these teams have kind of, I would almost say, shaped the meta that we're in at the moment.
I will say, I will give credit to the Chinese region, because they were the first ones to do Holy Locket on Train Protector and start, utilizing that for the healer tower.
Aster did it, right?
Yeah,
But
exactly, yeah.
They didn't play at this tournament. They just bombed out. It's
There
super
we
weird.
go.
They tried to
Yeah.
play. Come on. They did play.
No,
they
no,
just
no.
didn't play very well.
Oh, yeah.
Lose, out,
And then they didn't play? Is
They
that
get
the
to go
way
to
it
the other,
is?
so it's fine.
That is fair. That is fair. It's been very lovely chatting to you both. I think it's time to see some Dota getting played, though. And before we get to see some Dota getting played, we're going to see a draft play out with our draft panel.
Now, this is a story all about how my DPC got turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute just sitting right here and tell you how I became the grand finalist of the AniMajor. Did not rhyme. I got 30 seconds to prep that.
It was great still. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. I like the camera moving.
Don't give me the charity. Ohio. Let's stick to my true Western anime, even though Fresh Prince is a classic anime in Western culture. Lizard and PSJ, welcome. What I was getting at with that intro is that Nigma need to only get grand finals. It's just that simple. They just need to get first or second place, and they can get directly qualified to TI. Easy. Their opponent's LGD. Last time they split with them in the group stage. Easy. It's not like they've been setting the meta. It's not like, they invented carry axe at this tournament or anything. Yeah. Easy peasy.
I mean, look, if they do manage to win versus PSG LGD, you can argue that they belong in the grand finals, right? It's as simple as that.
I am a firm believer that the winner of this series will win the tournament.
Yeah.
I think it's like 75% in my eyes that this will decide the winner.
Do you think that if the winner of this tournament goes to the grand final, they will meet the same team?
I think it's quite likely that these two will rematch again based on what we've seen so far. It's not just that Nigma came all the way from the wild card, and PSG LGD had a convincing performance during the group stage. But I do feel like these two teams have the most innovative takes on the meta. They've adjusted their drafts. I pointed out on an earlier panel that Nigma, they played Spectre 2 of the last series of their DPC,
right,
but he wasn't building Echo Saber. They then played against Vici, who built an Echo Saber, and they lost to it. And then now ILTW has picked Spectre 5 times. They also played against LGD, who beat them with Spectre. And they've played Spectre 5 times and are 5-0 with this Echo Saber Spectre. So both these teams have heavy emphasis on Spectre. That's a hero I'm going to be looking out for. Both teams highly prioritize Phoenix. They share a lot of heroes, Enchantress, and they have their own takes on the meta. That's the biggest thing, is they are working around the meta. Like, they're letting teams have TA. They're letting them have the DKs, and they're dissecting it. And I love to watch it because it's just so confident that you've come up with this specifically concocted recipe to stop what's currently popular.
My only question is, they definitely do have their own takes on the meta, but some of their favorite heroes are constantly banned out.
Yeah.
My question now is, will PSG LGD be brave enough to perhaps not ban out that IO? It's a hero that has been first banned versus Nigma almost every single series, and it does give them an inherent advantage when it comes to drafting, right? Because most likely that you will have either Timber, DK, or perhaps even that TA opened up in the first stage, because of the IO being banned out.
And
Enchantress even
exactly
more likely.
Yeah, the Enchantress has been, I think, Kuro's star performance. The fact that he's doing so much damage and showing as much lane flexibility, because I think DPC, BSJ, you got to watch a lot of Nigma. Were they sending Kuro into the offlane?
I don't remember seeing that at all. And I think that these slight tweaks that they've made is a result of learning what fits them best with ILTW and what heroes go where in terms of synergies of dual lanes. Sometimes it's just as simple as you got an Enchantress, Kuro's going to play it. We have the other hero we need to fit the game is a 4 position. We're just going to put him bottom with ILTW. And it's so cool when you have that flexibility, because to the viewers at home, you see, just make sure your supports fit the game properly. But to be able to play both lanes, to be able to adjust which support has farm priority, this kind of stuff's really hard at the highest level, and that's why only like the top of the notch teams are able to pull it off.
He never shies away from playing a hero that's usually on position 4 into that position 5 if it's necessary. We've seen them play Rubik and Lion very often. We've seen the Hoodwink as well being played by Nigma. And the supporting duo, the supporting cast, is maybe even their strongest thing at the moment.
I think ILTW was their weakest thing during DPC, and I am just amazed at a captain like Kuro's ability to just adapt an entire roster towards his hero pool. And he's playing the same stuff, but he just looks so much better enabled. I don't know how much of that is an individual improvement on his own, or if it's a team chemistry thing. But either way, it's palpable. It's awesome to see, and everyone's rooting for him. You know, they're a team that you want to see succeed, and it just reminds you that sometimes teams like of this caliber, they're not always going to be at the top of their game, but once they find their stride, it's scary.
Yeah. When you think about PSG LGD, maybe the mid lane is the most volatile one.
Sure.
Yeah. Xingqiu.
I mean, I would have said carry previously, but during this tournament, Ame's been very well behaved.
Yeah, he's been buying BKBs.
I'm shocked.
He in the season 1 that is of the DPC,
and
season 2. Yeah, I was trying to make him look like he's reformed for a longer time, but it's a new thing. He refused to buy BKBs. Like if he's playing a Monkey King carry, he queues up instantly. You click on the hero, he already has Aghanims, Battle Fury, Crit queued up. Then perhaps
I've seen these games last major.
Then perhaps some Echo Saber or something, and then as the last resort, if he really must, he will buy that.
If he's died 3 times.
If he dies, yeah, that's it. Then you see suddenly the whole mentality shifting.
It's a carry mentality. First death, okay guys, I need to farm my next item. Second death, okay guys, get me Roshan. Die twice with the H, okay, I'll buy a BKB.
If you really need me to be the one to push the high ground, then I guess I'll do it. But yeah, throughout this tournament, it has kind of been nothing to say being the most volatile, which also means that he also peaks way higher than many other mids. Like, I'll see him completely obliterate lanes that I'll be surprised by.
Yeah, when I said completely volatile, I actually didn't mean anything bad by it. I just think that he's had very high peaks.
Yeah.
But he didn't really lose any games. He didn't really get crushed in the lane ever. So overall, he's been pretty solid. I've been surprised by some other heroes because in DPC, he didn't have a huge variety of heroes that he was playing. So the hero pool wasn't that great. Here, however, he's been dominating with, let's say, Alina mid lane, which isn't something that was that often picked in the DPC CN.
Oftentimes when I've been watching the Nigma series, the story of it feels like they have a better scaling draft and they don't really prioritize the lanes very much. And that tends to be the story with Chinese teams from what I've seen so far as well. And today is going to be a cool series for me personally because I'm going to see a clash of 2 playstyles that are both heavily fight-oriented and not too much emphasis on the lanes. And I think as this tournament's progressed, teams are learning how to play from behind better, which means that the laning stage is less important. Even in the last series of EG Game 3, I thought their lineup 100% had to crush the lanes for them to win, and yet they were able to just outmaneuver TNC on the map, and that's something where
She's similar to a gyro. AoE magic damage, mixed damage carry in the mid game, but gyro has an axe, which gives him that same. So what I saw with Nigma's last draft with Luna, they picked Miracle mid Doom last pick. You don't have that single target damage to deal with the opponent in that matchup later. Screw him over with the Doom, and it worked perfectly. And Miracle is actually the #1 net worth. I think Luna has like a supplemental early to mid game momentum carry that farms a lot of the map, gets momentum item wise then, but then kind of hands the pork chop to somebody else. Best way to play the hero if you're looking. And I didn't even realize that was a thing until I saw that game with Team Nigma, because it's so easy to craft. Oh, struggles with sync. Hey, we can make her a late gamer, give her the perfect kind of understand.
10 seconds remaining.
Way that they dissect win con. Because I just
5 seconds remaining.
What the last game they played
PSG LGD's turn
Razor, Wyvern, Beastmaster, and Spectre against TA. And it made it look like the hardest TA game I've ever... And I was just like, that entire lineup was meant to make that team not win the game. And that's why you think of matchups as hero outcarries the other. Nigma has this way of orchestrating a game plan entirely count.
Would even say that.
But then you pile it on.
Then you pile on it.
PSG LGD's
In this game, Ohio completely unbanned and yet not first, said other respect. Voker, Kuro, Chantress banned out, then the Carry Axe, and says Templar sent. GLGD, pick up the puck.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Perhaps
Radiant team back.
if you're Nigma, you have played DK on the op. Shy away from. Fuck. Worried about it.
Yeah, this looks like a really hard puck game already. I would wonder if they have any
10
flex
seconds
capability.
remaining.
I think Undying is underrated. LGD, as far
5
as I've seen,
seconds
was
remaining.
far. And the reason why I say that is similar to how AA is fighting right now, where you have the Ice Blast in the Ice Vortex, which effectively removes a ton of HP from the opponents by amping up all the damage of your team.
PSG LGD's turn
Final
to
remain
ban.
HP. You have the Undying Golem, the ult. It does damage jump to anyone around you from all sources. And heroes like DK, we've seen them.
I thought you have to punch them.
Radiant
By
team
the
back.
depot.
Well, is that actually?
It used to be the
Oh, okay.
and
So
now
sorry
you have
to the guy that you're punching.
Right.
So I.
Which works
it's
on
still-
both
I was
fronts.
testing you.
Of
You
course.
passed. Great job.
Excellent.
And I think it's really important.
Are you
have a hero like DK to be able to do that.
Is that what?
Yes.
Little bit.
I just don't play Undying. I just know.
10 seconds remaining.
All right, how about this? Do you know if he would build a lock this game? Because we're talking heals.
Yeah, you would.
LGD's
That's why I'm
turn
dying.
to
Radiant
ban. Team back.
That, I know.
Did you see his last build on the Drow game? He went Phase Orb of Corrosion.
That man wants to punch.
This guy goes in hard.
Yeah. In DPSTN, we have Lanham as well. Build Vlad's corrosion. It happens.
10 seconds
Maybe
remaining.
we'll see Innocence do.
When
I'm
Innocence,
sure.
when Innocence
5
ran
seconds remaining.
Undying, it was against Alliance. Ended up going Corrosion.
Yeah.
So it
was
wasn't
pretty good.
It wasn't against a DK. Kunkka and Faceless, and they were against an AA. They don't. LGD is opting not to ban. They don't even care about the.
I just love how the area of control that Undying, and it's so important. Fights throughout the. If you lay that tombstone down, the way LGD executed around it, it's engaged if the tombstone wasn't ideal, or forced every little engagement they could around it. It's such a cool hero because it's so favorable if you get the engagement, but the hero itself offers nothing to getting it, and that's why I think Puck Undying
Perfect
is a
synergy. Plus the lane itself. Pile on after that to Dying and all the. I do like the ring. Been. They're the ones that.
Radiant team pick. PSG LGD.
And this isn't any shocker. It's not a shocker. It's your Dragonite line.
Dying is one of the best supports entire game against. But also, Flying Vision used to counter the vision aspect, but it's
10
mainly that if
seconds
Spectre
remaining.
haunts and the entirety of LGD is huddled around
5
the
seconds
tombstone,
remaining.
you don't want to take that. And that means that you have a long duration ultimate that's countered by about a 70-second cooldown non-ultimate. And now that I'm thinking about it, because it's so obvious when I see it, LGD planned this. They purposed this
Radiant
Undying, saying,
team
"We
pick.
dare you." Spectre. And now I'm kind of giving the draft edge already to LGD because they 100% knew that. And I think Nigma is slightly forcing strategy that's been working for them because I don't think anyone else has a draft.
10 seconds
Why
remaining.
would they go for the?
I think
5
they
seconds remaining.
both teams prioritize these types of heroes, the Luna for Nigma and the way that they've talked about. But for LGD, they have the Undying, so they're likely picking a carry. And if they picked Luna, it wouldn't feel as good in the Spectre matchup. And Spectre matches up really well against all of the range. So now it kind of makes the pick for LGD as a safe lane a bit awkward.
PSG LGD.
Undying, it's definitely not.
Radiant team.
They actually go with the Terrorblade.
Snap Terrorblade, range carry that match.
Talk so much about area denial of Undying. We are harping on Terrorblade Metamorphosis. Get in and out of a fight, especially with the Nigma hat. They have no easy.
PSG LGD
5 seconds remaining.
Park our salt. Power. Fight us. Ravage. And the Morphosis. Don't. TB will make sure. They are on this time. They'll have to be very, very careful. Fights, same can be said a little bit.
I am so impressed by LGD because it's like imagining an image in your mind that you want someone to paint for you, and they just paint it better than you would.
Dota by numbers.
Yeah.
But explain the Tidehunter.
I was just that's exactly where I was getting.
Tell me.
So they have this heavy commitment teamfight lineup. The DK Lion initiate the fight with Spectre, follow up immediately with the Haunt. And as of now, imagine how hard it is to be a puck on the map if you don't have somebody providing vision, information, being the guy as a body in front of you. Hyde is the hero to counter that single target initiative that the enemy team, if they are reliant upon it.
To pick.
So important that like sometimes people have a stun like a lion, but then they have a way to kind of kite you, poke at you a little bit with like an enchantress support, pelting you with impetus as an example. But they don't have anything like that on the side of Nigma. Once they go in, they're in, and that is the best time for Tide. And I think Nigma has gone into this series saying we're gonna be good at. We've gotten this far successfully.
Just works for them so far.
No, and I'm saying that this is by far the most calculated response from any that I've seen, and I'm loving LGD's draft.
This is like you look at this hero and everyone most brainless position 5. You just go into the lane. Okay, afterwards you.
He is a zombie.
He is.
Third.
There you go.
I would love Marana.
Brains. However, he just does so much to enable this game. And Tidehunter.
Radiant team pick.
Rana, he pretty much should do this job that run in first, give some info. Most likely. Now you have even Miran.
Zeus like absolutely nothing.
Zeus would be
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, so I guess the
maybe
question is,
the would be
DK traditionally a very good mid
5
laner.
seconds remaining.
But
the sack.
You may
Another
now
magic
select your heroes.
which you guys are generally not too big on it as a counter to Terrorblade.
because it's not
Are
great.
you guys gonna play the game?
You're good versus TB until he gets 2-3 items. 1-3 items. Can't run in.
Said Marana because it's just perfect pick in regards to information. All I was thinking was they have all the capabilities to take the right fight on both sides. I think LGD's was easier to execute, but now it's about getting the jump on them vision-wise. And Marana, if you're gonna pick a 4 position, is the best option for that because of the Moonlight Shadow. That was the first hero that came to mind for me. They snap pick it. I'm just like.
They played it as well, right? Like
yeah.
This is literally their draft.
It lanes well with Tide. I'm fanboying over this LGD draft because I think Puck first pick, except it's a hero in the meta, got countered. That's what you expect. Like other 4 heroes, I think. And I think Nigma then drafted Lesh into Terrorblade. The reason why we don't like Terrorblade is it has to be point blank range, the damage it wants to do, and Terrorblade wants you to walk into him harder than him in point blank range. So I'm gonna go for LGD with the draft. I'm excited to
find it as much poetry and motion how it is created here, Lizard.
I'll give some credit to our table. This hero, the highest. Lion and the Rook. They aren't picked together for a reason by most teams, but Nigma, they're not most.
Highly critical time, Trent. And they have the Spectre, which Ryan mentioned was area of the series. 5-0.
Their draft is awesome for I just think that LG's draft is also awesome for them and good against what, but I think both teams can take it. I just think.
他们说什么我也不会去了。
Prepare for battle.
Really need a crown of victor between Nigma eagerly trying to make their way to the grand finals. LGD, they've already got TI in the bag. Kuro and the boys in this game number 1.
Thank you, Tsunami. That's right. LGD versus Nigma. LGD last major. They started off the wild cards. They managed to get second in the group stage and then went all the way to third in the playoffs. But Nigma, here in the second major, has to be able to surpass LGD, not only in this series, but also in positioning. They need a grand finals berth. It's going to come at a hard cost if LGD gets their way. Smoke breaking both teams.
They don't know that that ward was placed.
They both know that the other team is here.
30 seconds to battle.
Really nice. Are they going to take this fight anyway? Sentry going to be dropped. Okay, they realize, yeah, all right, they have vision of us. And LGD gonna go for the deny on their own observer ward now.
GH, he's thinking about it. Wait, just kidding. He can't see that.
No, he can't.
Yeah, I love this draft just to set up the series. It's so cool when you see great Dota teams come in with some preparation. The bans making a ton of sense from both sides. You take out the Miracle Invoker, then swipe his puck. Nigma have already banned out the TA. They go for the Lion DK, but Undying, not just great against DK, but also a pre-planned counterpick to Spectre. My favorite support in that matchup. If Tomb is down and Spectre haunts, the zombie spawn will pretty much just get rid of any desolate damage. And in addition, you're an incredibly strong mid-game team fighter. Spectre's very weak at that portion, and Tombstone can oftentimes just win you a team fight. And then, of course, GH Rubik into the Tide Hunter. Miracle, once again on an intelligence spellcaster. Like, it's just a lot of really cool stuff with this draft.
So it feels like both teams kind of knew what was going to be drafted and in a way preempted that. And both lineups did accept that there was already a counter on the table, but they drafted it anyway, just feeling like it's too good for them in some ways. Too good for the meta, too good for their team, whatever it is, they've gotten it anyway.
And this right here is going to be the matchup of the series.
Ooh, nice
Miracle. Fighting not just external battles, but also inside of his very self, up against the #1 MMR player in the world, and
somebody who's been killing it this tournament. Nothing to say. Has definitely been my MVP anyway so far for the tournament, but this series will really actually shake up that argument quite a bit, one way or the other.
Yeah, this is in some ways, I think, the highest level Dota we're likely to see at this major, at least so far. And again, they split in the group stage. Very happy we get to see them again.
Yeah, absolutely. Nigma, they did go 1-1 with LGD. Of course, they didn't manage to top out their groups. But then again, neither did LGD. And look how far they went last major, all the way to third. Nigma needs to be able to do better than that. In order to get their ticket to TI, they need to be able to make it all the way into the grand finals.
Yeah, not just that, you know, it's one of these things, this is still a major. You want to win this tournament. PSG LGD, they've been qualified for some time, but they have not let off the gas. Still look incredibly fearsome. And this draft, like the amount of preparation and just thought that went into it demonstrates like they are no slouches right now. And they would love to be a team. I mean, really, wouldn't every team already in TI want to make sure that this Radiant lineup of Team Nigma stays out?
Yes. No, that's absolutely right. You either want Nigma to be in the qualifier, knocking out other teams, or potentially keeping them out of TI entirely, as you just cannot underestimate the power of these sort of squads when it comes to the biggest tournament in the world. They have a way of being able to step up when needed.
Kuroki was first at TI 7, fourth at TI 8, second at TI 9.
Yeah, don't forget that grand finals appearance all the way back at TI 3. Truly incredible performance by him throughout his career, and has been leading Nigma to look better and better every single stage of this tournament. Starting out the wild cards, okay, barely managed to eke it in, a little bit more dominant in the group stage, managed to get second, looking pretty fine there, and then now in the playoffs. Full of a lot of momentum, it looks like. GH, nice pick up the Couriers. Couriers dying all over the place.
PSG LGD, oh, hang on.
Why? He's taking too much damage here, unless, yeah, he's got no more mana to be able to save himself. They're even going to drain a little bit more mana away from him. Mind control. It's going to have to find him in the trees somewhere. Why? Hiding in a little spot. Mind control. They're not going to give up on this, I think. Oh, he spots him, finds him. First blood for Mind control.
They do give some CXTV in the meantime. You always take that first blood. Also, fun fact, Y actually has the same jersey number as Bulba, 24. And in addition, Team Nigma, they were stage right for their victory. They're now stage left. The stage right team, where PSG LGD now has been winning, I think, every match.
You're really buying into this curses hoodoo, aren't you?
I have.
If your curse works, then other curses must work as well.
I'm becoming more and more superstitious, that's for sure.
I remember the team was talking about, like, oh, remember the one person in that booth, whenever that admin is there, that team always wins.
It's a thing. The TI runs, typically teams get one admin. It's for that reason. And they stick with you throughout the tournament. Now, let's get into the game plan.
Okay.
Theoretically, PSG LGD in the late game, I think, have a pretty huge lead. Undying used to not schedule it out with the talent like Tombstone on Death, the Mass Sustain, Holy Lockets. I actually think this hero is just real strong. Like, Tombstone on Death, the reincarnated 25, it's just kind of nuts stuff. They have a TB, they have a Tide. We've seen how powerful the Vici Gaming lineup is when they run their Doom, eventually with the Refresher online. Titan's kind of the same, and in addition, a really cool thing PSG LGD do, yeah, they didn't have an Axe, they didn't have a TA, but they ensure that their offlaner now, Faith Beyond, can farm Ancient stacks. They always have a way to clear Ancients. That's what's missing from Team Nigma's lineup, so they're going to need to be a bit more up-tempo and probably get more active with the Spectre than we've seen typically in this tournament, especially considering their other two cores, Leshrac, DK, they want to get towers as soon as they hit 6.
Q. Spots Miracle here, who's making a brief incursion here into the triangle. Not sure if he thought the bounty was there, if he knew about the stacks that were happening, but either way, he's going to take all of them.
Nice.
That is a really good move, and LGD didn't even move to try and stop him at all. They watched him walk up there and take their stuff.
And only the puck can really rotate. That's the one issue with this lineup, and here it comes. Tipping to the top lane.
Yeah, they're going to go for it. See if they can get the two-man coil. Nope, it's only going to be one man onto Mind Control. The last couple of shots following Curl, but they're going to focus on this Dragonite. A much bigger kill. Curl hanging around, trying to help out his offlaner as fast as possible, but he won't be able to do it. Just simply too much damage with 4 members of LGD there in the top lane. And Miracle, he's like, okay, I'll take that space and start hitting mid.
Nice job by Nothing to Say to hold his silence. That was a great breathe fire. Not for the damage, but for the damage reduction from MC. Might have kept him alive if Curl was able to clear him out with a stun, but the silence preventing that. And this is the one thing. They don't really have any rotator except for Nothing to Say on the puck. That's the only real way this team can find kills. The arrow setup is a Ravage. So the Mirana more being utilized for the laning prowess. You know, you buy Blightstone, you hit people with Gush. It's not bad. It's a big part of the reason that the Tide's currently ahead of the Spectre Network. Also the stacks. Nice deny by Wino.
Nicely done. Why? Picking up a good deny in that mid tower still, though. Miracle finding a big opening. Ooh, didn't actually go for the split earth there off the telekinesis. As a result, Nothing to Say is able to jump away, delivers a healthy amount of damage, and finishes off the Leshrac.
Slight miscue there from Miracle. If he just gets a stun off on the lift, he might kill all 3. Like, that was an Arcane Rune Leshrac. If he can just avoid a puck spell, like, the hero is very feast or famine. That's a miracle death or a triple kill. There's really no in between.
Unfortunately for LGD, they do manage to get a bit of revenge for losing their mid tower so early. What is with Terrorblade? Why is he coming back into the meta so strong? Specifically at this tournament, it feels like it's making the rise.
I think the change to Scotty helped the hero quite a bit. It's always been like a go-to item for Terrorblade. Now it's also the best tool at limiting regen and health gain. In addition, not showing. It's tough to really quantify unless you really break down games thoroughly enough to make a YouTube out of it, but this hero can shove multiple lanes, one with the hero, one with illusions. You also clear camps much faster than most carries. He's level 6, he's already able to go jungle. And it's just, you know, around this time, we get closer and closer into the summer. TD, it's a game mode. You make, you know, your BKB, your Sunder, you can just straight up win a game. We saw it in the group stage, actually, from Arteezy. A couple of Sunders with 0.06 seconds remaining on death that just straight up win fights and win games for his team.
And one thing it did take from those EG games where they're drafting Terrorblade. I always felt like the enemy team did not have an easy way to be able to burst down the Terrorblade. In fact, the last time we casted, they didn't have any way to kill the Terrorblade quickly, so we would always get off Sunder. I'm slightly concerned about that here, just because of the slower damage of Spectre plus Dragonite, but they do have some tools, thanks to Finger of Death.
I mean, you know, TB, Spectre, this is a storied relationship, specifically when LGD, you know, this is Ame's answer to Spectre. Like, this is what, even going back to those TI finals, both OG and PSG LGD were comfortable picking these carries into one another. So, you can make arguments for how one is a good matchup or counters the other, but obviously both teams still pretty comfortable. Miracle, nice invade.
This is a really big kill. They can manage to get it. They will. Split Earth, and they even use the Han. ILTW will join it and claim the bounty on Ame's head.
And Miracle drops a bounty with that shovel. Full bottle now. That's huge.
Oh, that is quite nice.
That is a dream for Leshrac, and still, again, taking enemy jungle. This is going to be Kikuro.
Showing up behind Kuro here, arrow. Nicely thrown out there by Shin-Q, making sure they get a second kill there, but doesn't offset the fact that they lost their carry. And ILTW still free farming.
Nice though, it's coil conservation. They should now be able to rotate bottom and stop Miracle if necessary.
Okay. See if they
Radiant structures are fortified.
Make a move like that.
That's the benefit of the Spectre, though, and that's something Nigma have done well so far this tournament. Just, you find those kills in the mid-game, and when you have a Rubik Lash, it's almost guaranteed you're going to have enough lockdown to get ILTW involved. Yul's soon to be completed on Miracle, and PSG LGD issue at the moment is really just the lack of playmaking. Their team fight's going to be nuts, but it's pretty much nothing to say who's forced to do everything. If he's showing on map, the rest of Team Nigma just can chill. There's really nothing to fear unless they walk headfirst into a Ravage.
Very scary pickup. GH picking up the arrow from the Mirana, so now he's got a telekinesis into arrow chain stun. If anything, they've got more set up for the arrow combo than LGD does.
It's definitely easier to hit. Also lasts longer. Just kidding. No points in Arcane Supremacy skill just yet.
Dire are scanning.
Also doesn't last longer. That was pre-patch.
Yeah. Didn't want to say anything about
It's okay, thank you. I've learned to self-correct.
It's okay, it goes farther. Does more damage.
Let's see, okay. So both offlaners, Faith Beyond now with the hood. He's going to buy Blink. He's a little ahead, so even with the hood, he's still just about as close to his Blink as the DK.
They're going to try and make a move here around the Moonlight Shadow. They still want to make a little bit of active plays here. No, catch GH as he was solo trying to push out that bottom lane. It's important even if you don't have your big playmaking spells, like, you know, in this case it's going to be the Blink Dagger with the Ravage. That's the combo that LGD can really start getting active with. It's important to still be a little active while you wait for that timing, right?
Yeah.
You want to keep the enemy honest.
Well, it's also the way that they've positioned, right? Faith Beyond's been quiet, but notably he's been top for some time. That's why we haven't seen Miracle do the traditional move of, okay, mid tower's dead, all right, sweep enemy jungle, go for the top safe lane tower.
That's why he tried the other tower, right?
Exactly.
He's kind of showing up in the safe lane for a bit because he's like, I want to go anywhere the Tidehunter isn't.
Exactly, because Faith Beyond, he's just holding Ravage. He's got a full wand, a hood. This is not a hero you should get anywhere close to, and expect Team Nigma just to try to continue doing as they have. Trade farm. Mind control, he'll just chill. If you want to make a move on me with Ravage, whatever, it's fine, but you are not going to challenge a Tidehunter under tower. Meanwhile, PSG LGD, Terrorblade, another reason the heroes are so strong. You can take Ancients early on. ILTW did clear his camp, but it's significantly more difficult for a Spectre.
Double damage going to be denied. Miracle looking to punish with the Yule Scepter, but the Mirana is a bit too fast for him. Seems like both sides are very comfortable with just chilling and farming and waiting for that key item timing. What is it for Nigma? Because we know the Blink Dagger, that's what LGD is going to be playing around. Is there something specific for Nigma that they need, or is it just a lack of opportunity?
So that's the thing. Team Nigma, they just kind of stuck with their comfort, but I really love what PSG LGD have because I don't know when that timing occurs. Undying covers you in the mid-game. This push is allowed only because Faith Beyond's not there, but realistically, you can't teamfight into LGD. It's just not a possibility unless you're able to get pickoffs on cores in advance, specifically on the Puck or the TB. Undying, soon to have maxed out Tombstone. You've got Veil Coil, soon a Blink on Puck. I think once these Blinks come out, There's the one on Tide complete. Now all of a sudden, Nigma, you've got to be real cautious about overstepping.
Looks like they're calling for a sweep over, but I believe Faith Beyond was not spotted by that war. He was already in the trees, and they're setting up right now. Nigma, they're not going to spot this one coming. Miracle going to be blown up on the spot with that Ravage, which also clipped Mind Control, so they might be able to catch him as well. It's going to take a long, long run, though, and I don't think that's worth it. Not for a tanky Dragonite. So they're just going to move back to farming here. Is it worth it? Ravage for Miracle's life?
In that position, I would say sure. I mean, it's better to just use it, right? Because ultimately, Terrorblade popping meta, you farm faster, you connect on a kill, you feel good about it. You want to use the spell, and it also repels Team Nigma from that side of the map, but you've got to be a little cautious because their Blink Dagger now online on Mind Control's DK. So they might just look to make a move back themselves.
Yeah, Nigma's just going to run it back, right? Yep. They're saying, okay, no Ravage. Faith Beyond trying to make himself a target, knowing that he doesn't have a Ravage. His tankiness is his best ability right now. Innocence being targeted by ILTW, but he's also quite a tanky boy, so he's not so easily going to fall either until, okay, maybe the damage coming out from GH. That helps a little bit. They take up a fine position, but again, a big ultimate used, only netting them a single kill.
Yeah, but it's a really nice play. It's excellent Dota from both teams, starting with the opening bans. You have to go. There's no Tomb, and there's no Ravage.
You're going to try for this. Oh, never mind. Look at that. The hood into blink away, and the puck. Here for the punish. Arrow's going to go out. Dodge by GH. Tidehunter again pushing himself forward, trying to tank up for the team so the damage healers can do something, but it's a little bit too much damage, and the finger of death finishes them off. Once again, the puck looking to be able to re-engage, but they don't feel great about this. Nigma, they're very healthy right now, and they are looking for a fight.
Oh yeah, and more importantly, they want that tier 2. That's why they're playing so offensively up here. They recognize they've got a window where cooldowns for LGD are down. If they can get a tier 2, that's outpost control. That means you control a third of the jungle away from the TB, and in addition, you get that XP bonus, which is huge in this kind of game. Talents are so critical nowadays. Early outposts mean everything. It also then removes a teleportation location for the Dire team, which makes contesting Roche significantly more difficult as we push into the mid to late game.
Yeah, it's Radiant side, right? Radiant side taking the opposing tier 2 tower is so big because it's such big control over Roshan.
MC, that was a quick blink. He had his spidey senses tingling. Yeah, they had the sentry there. Really nice job. You can see a lot of sentries placed offensively by Kuro so far. 5 in the enemy jungle. That one mid-key saves his DK. PSG LGD, they're going to just move bot.
Nothing to say. You got to be very careful with those kind of jumps. They've got 2 instant disables, telekinesis and Hex. And if he's not careful, actually, Blink Dragon Tech. Well, that's a 3. This is not an easy game for the Buck whatsoever.
Arcane on the DK, that's quite nice. I'll be able to use an ult almost for free. And this is going to be the kind of story of this game. With PSG LGD, they've got their CDs. When they're popped, they need that time to recharge. But when they're ready with meta, Ravage, Tombstone prepared, you can't really fight them as Team Nigma until you have some sort of item advantage. It's going to need to be a very technical game from them. They have to find pickoffs, that instant Hex, as you said. Expect nothing to say. Yeah, he already has a queued up. Blink, fail, hold up.
He's going to jump onto Kuro here. Arrow, Kuro, not able to dodge it. And that's commitment from Faith Beyond to be able to finish off the captain of Nigma. Now, does manage to steal the arrow, and they've also killed the Undying. Faith Beyond is in a little deep right now, and ILTW, recognizing that, is trying to slow him down. Slow his retreat as much as possible. They're going to have to do something here. A coil goes out. They're going to turn and go for Mind Control instead. Mind Control brings the rest of LGD back, but it does cost him his life. Can LGD keep going here with a one-man advantage? Or are they going to back up and keep farming with this metamorphosis?
It looks like they're just going to back off and farm. Really nice pick off there. Kuro unfortunately walks into the arrow, but they find Undying at the same time.
Do you think this is caution or confidence? That each time we have like a little pick off like this, the team isn't trying to pressure for more. They just seem to be content with playing back to their side of the map.
It's a bit of both. Like ILTW, he's holding on to his haunt, right? So it's very scary to play this game. And PSG LGD, if you fall behind in one fight and that opens up Roche, the whole game changes for you. They've got to be conservative with their cooldowns. And just want to note, I really like Nothing to Say is always that step ahead. He went Arcane Boots this game because of what he's got queued up. He wants an Aether Lens immediately. You brought up the instant stuns. Puck only fears 100-0 in this game, and this will give him that time to get his round of spells off.
And by Aether Lens, you mean Eon Disc, right?
Correct.
The ability to be able to just tank through an initiation like that, which he has to worry about from not just the Blink Dragon Tail that's coming from the DK, but also soon it's going to be Kuro's Blink Dagger. That should be online very soon. A big kill being found here by Miracle. There's no way out for him here, so just a free pickoff for LGD.
And Xinq already with a very early Spirit Vessel. That's quite nice against DK. Very farmed. 2,000 ahead of the enemy 4 position GH.
Oh, they got GH as well. GH. I remember seeing him sitting here on the side, and these wards that were placed earlier spotted him, so they get another +1.
Some high-level wards, though, to be fair. You don't typically see Dire in that spot. That's a radiant location.
I mean, it's part of the reason they were able to hunt down Miracle in the first place, right? It's that they had a vision of where he might retreat back to. So they knew he was in the trees. So, yeah, those kind of wards feeling very value. Kuro keep on being a nuisance to this Terrorblade. You can see every single time he sees an illusion, he's hexing and he's spirit siphoning to remove that farming option from Ame.
Oh, Nether Shawl, that's quite nice. I believe they give that to the Spectre, just for spell resist.
Yeah.
And there's the Aeon Disc already picked up. But 4K gold lead for PSG LGD. This is just the nature of TB. You're going to get that little bit ahead, and they've also been more successful at finding pickoffs. Pretty much every Ravage has led to a kill on a core. The question is, when do you get activated? I think it'll be the BKB timing. You can see it queued up. Recipe purchased. Here it comes. And now it's the quest. Use big cooldowns, find kills, walk into the Roche Pit. That's going to be the play for PSG LGD. They've got a lot of map control. And right now, I'd say they have a pretty huge lead in this upcoming team fight.
Yeah, and I think both of these items that they just picked up, hold up, Faith Beyond, they're going to poke at him here. Mind Control does make the jump forward and manage to catch the Undying. They blow him up before the Tombstone goes down, but at the same time, Miracle, under the assault of Ame, will fall in the river. Now they manage to get the Dragon Coil onto the Dragonite as well with a follow-up arrow. Very nicely done. That coil is still keeping ILTW in place, and if they can keep vision of him, they should be able to run him down as well. The Orb going to spot him. No hiding places here, ILTW. He falls. LGD winning a big fight.
Yeah, they just can't fight. These two supports, even though they picked up the Undying, he's a 3K net worth hero. He's done his job. He's a strength hero. Who cares about Tombstone? Ame's just killing everything. They won't go Roche. They'll take tier 1. But right now, I think Nigma might have the wrong read on this game. You can't fight into this. You just can't, especially with the BKB second item on TV.
Is under attack.
How do you play into this this amount of team fight?
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Split lanes, you know. Miracle, he itemized for that GH dead again, but he has bots, Yols, Kaya. He's playing for like 5th item Dota. This is not a location he can be in. How is he supposed to survive walking in? They didn't even use Ravage. It wasn't necessary.
Yeah, they don't have a save mechanism, first of all, and he's putting himself in a position where he is the first target of LGDs. And they're happy with that. I mean, that's biggest damage dealer right there. The fact that they're doing it on a Tidehunter is also just, it makes me question a little bit. They obviously thought he was just entirely alone and pushing out the lane. I can't imagine they knew that LGD was all behind.
And Kuro did a cool play there where he fully mana drained Faith Beyond. But it's like, okay, I don't have Ravage, but, you know, we have a coil. I've got both your cores, and they're dead now. So.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to use a Ravage here anyway. We already won the fight.
Yeah, just, again, I think they feel on Team Nigma a little more secure in this game than they are, but it's just the power of the Tidehunter, really. Nothing to Say has also been on point. His Xeon Disc got procced in that fight. Expect that to be looked at with the same importance as the cooldowns on his allies' ultimates. And another reason I really like this pickup, because it gives Puck like a cooldown to play around with his team. Because now you have your team fight winning spells. What would prevent that? We've already discussed. It's Team Nigma picking off a hero. Well, right now it's really only the Undying. Mirana's going to be way in the hell back, and Puck can't die because Eon. So all of a sudden, it's really about waiting for that defusal and looking to find pickoffs. But PSG LGD, they have all their spells. They're just going to go.
Yeah, they're going to keep it up. They built a 4K network lead off of farming and pickoffs. Now it's 7K off of a team fight. Now another team fight is going to make it even worse as Kuro jumps in and hits the Hex, but he's not going to be able to stop Miracle from dying here. Follow him into the grave. 6-15. Now an 8,000 net worth lead as PSG LGD looks to be able to close down the map. Mind control. He needs a way out of here. Okay, the arrow's not actually going to land, so he can TP away now. At least he should be able to. He's going to wait until his blink is up. Oh, this is a risky maneuver here. Mind control pushing for just that one more wave. Nothing to say. Ooh. Maybe they could have caught him there, but fortunately, mind control quick enough to be able to blink out. TP's away to safety.
And we talked about nothing to say, having to perform. He's 2-0-12, present for 14 out of 15 kills. And right now, just PSG LGD, they're in total control of the game. The threat of the Ravage, like, it hasn't even been used in a couple of fights. It's just the coil. And Team Nigma, they just don't have damage right now. They're going to need time. I like the Force Staff for the Tide as well after the Pipe. Pipe negates like 3 or 4 ticks of Miracle's ult on his whole team, and Force is now useful as both a coil breaker and to potentially break stun chain combos.
So tell me a little bit about the Spectre versus TB as this goes later into the game. Is there, because it definitely feels like BKB and now Scotty soon on the Terrorblade, that's just going to be this huge momentum shift where you're just super far ahead. When does the Spectre start getting back into it more? Or is that more about teamfight execution?
Well, the thing is, TB and why you like it into Spectre, so dispersion damage is returned as the type that's given.
Sure.
So TB with a ton of armor obviously isn't super affected. Also
he's just
from high
pumping
range.
Physical damage into a Spectre, and she's bouncing back physical damage, and it's not even that much because it's based off of how close you are as well.
Exactly. So this is why PSG LGD historically have seen this as the answer to Spectre. The difference is when OG was winning with it, that the Spectre also had a ton of stacking damage reduction because dispersion functions that it deals damage. Well, Spectre takes the damage post-reduction, but dispersion is done pre-reduction in terms of damage output.
Oh, trying to do the Manta trick to see if he can get out of the coil. Doesn't actually work. Snaps it towards the end, and now they blow the Ravage because they've got the carry of Nigma dead, and they're right in front of a tier 2 tower.
Yeah, this is just incredible execution from PSG LGD. Like, I don't want to take anything away from Team Nigma. They're a solid team, but they have been just thoroughly out-strategized thus far, and PSG LGD have not made any mistakes.
No, they certainly haven't, and they're looking to play a very clean game and pushing this tier 2. Everybody playing to the right-hand side here, nowhere near that high ground triangle area. Tidehunter being the first target to see, Terrorblade right behind him. It's just really just picture perfect layout of how to be able to take a tower and how you want to structure your team fights if they do try and fight you.
Yeah, there's really just no flaws in the lineup so far. I think it's going to require my main man RMN in the back to brainstorm up something, because that first 2 Undying, I think, kind of threw them for a loop. It limits the laning phase advantage. The mid game gets tough, and then the Tidehunter just securing both Ancients and team fight. And, you know, ILTW, he's had Haunt for a while, but how do you use it? That's the question. Team Nigma, they need a pick-off. They need somebody solo. Who will it be? They hunt.
Miracle's having a hard time living through these fights. Same goes with the supports, and nothing to say. He's making it even harder for them. He's already picked up a Dagon 1. This smoke needs to work for Nigma. Can't find the back line. Jin-Q first, missed out on the Hex though, onto the puck, and that is going to cost Kuro his life, and Jin-Q still manages to be able to jump away. Mind control in big here with the BKB. They manage to finish up the 5 position, but that's not much. They need to be able to help out Mind control, but stuck inside this coil with the Terrorblade laying, and the damage Miracle can't get out either. They started with going on Jin-Q, and Jin-Q will put the nail in the coffin for this team fight by killing Miracle and assisting in the death of ILTW as well. 4 down, and LGD, it feels like this game is thoroughly theirs. They have to seriously throw to give it up.
It's just been so clean from this squad. Miracle went for that cute Yule's break coil play. Unfortunately, was still in the coil when he came down, and nothing to say, just waiting there. Like one of those raptors in Jurassic Park 3, just playing with his food. That's a 4-man kill. That's Roche.
Shadows, take us. A prize.
Well, maybe they'd get the pick off on GH there, but no. So, should be a free Roche, huh?
It's just such a good game. I love watching Dota played this well because, you know, this is Team Nigma are no slouches. They've been hot coming into this game and series, but that's all set up as well just because Ame's playing excellent Terrorblade. He's hiding in the trees behind tier 2. Mid is being pushed by illusions. They acquire so much vision because of their lanes, every creep wave acting as a living ward, that when you see nobody, it's very simple then to read Nigma's movements. You know they're coming for you, you know they're probably smoked up, and they just turn it around with superior team fight.
They certainly did. They did all of that without meta being used. They're going to pick up the gem just to make sure that now that they do have pretty good map control, it feels like Nigma can't even fight them if straight on 5-on-5. They get to sweep through the map as 5, taking down any wards, and Nigma's going to find it harder and harder to be able to get out of their base.
I mean, Ame even going for the conjure image duration. Better for lane shove for the most part. Stats more for your initial fight and survivability. And then check out Faith Beyond and what he's got queued up. He's only a recipe away from a refresher. And that's the like Vici does this with Doom, PSG LGD taking a page out of their book now with the Tide, because it's already hard enough to fight into the 1 Ravage.
Sure.
You're telling me 2, all he needs to do is hit 2 heroes. They're 100% dead.
Yeah. Taking the outpost. Again,
is under attack.
Nigma left to try and scurry around in these side lanes, hiding in the trees, occasionally popping out, killing a creep wave as quick as possible, and then back into the tunnel once again is all they can really do.
They do have a BKB on Miracle, but
bottom tower
concern now is, I mean, they're just so far behind in the item progression. Ame is enormous.
The Mirana's going to be found here. Okay, free pickoff. Nigma, okay, maybe not so free. Nothing to say. Was setting up here, and he does manage to get here pretty damn fast. Now, they have Tombstone here as well, so these supports, they're not going to be able to run away from this. They're going to get swept up here by LGD, jumping away. GH with a stolen phase shift blink.
What a beast.
Actually survives.
Yeah, I mean, my man can still play Rubik. It's just a big ask. He has Aether and a Blink, so the Ravage steal is a possibility, but he's going to need one hell of a Ravage steal. That was a nice pickoff. They've been hoping for one of those for some time. Feels like ages since Nigma actually got a kill. That was our first one for a while, and that defusal, I feel like we queued up, we poked at it, what? 5 to 7
yeah,
minutes
it was
ago.
a while ago. Yeah,
that's a very cheap item, but LTW just not really enough space around the map to progress.
Yeah, he's behind the Tide Hunter in net worth. It's just not been a happy day for him. That being said, I do think probably Phase Shift is one of the best abilities for GH if he wants to be able to steal that Ravage.
Yes.
Right? If he has fast enough reactions to dodge the Ravage, then he pops out, steals it, blinks in, counter Ravages. Uh-oh. Well, there goes that theory.
Playing foiled.
Alright, well.
I love the build from Nothing to Say, though. Like, Neon Disc is actually just so... God, I'm using rich words, but it's 5-head. And the Veil Dagon, it's so powerful against heroes like Lion and Rubik. They want to play safe through the back line. Well, they just get bursted down. Now with Aegis...
Curl can't get out. Curl can't get out. He's stuck in the trees. Should have kept hiding there, Curl. High control, looking to be able to slow down this push. Gets forced straight in the coil. And the Tombstone out. Nigma, they can't even really get close to it. Once again, stealing the phase shift, but the Ravage is still available from Faith Beyond. They don't need to use it to get this lane of barracks.
Everything they've done this game is a clinic cap. Even the Undying of Innocence with a Holy Locket, fully charged up, and a mech. It's like they've stolen ideas, game plans, and plays from the tournament, absorbed all of that energy and power, and have now just unleashed it on Team Nigma, who are almost certainly going to drop a beat down in this upper bracket semi.
Yeah, they just put a bit of their region's flair on it, right? Like just having the big superior team fight, which China has always been known to be able to pull out in these big LAN events. And they're just going straight through the tier 4s, apparently. Nigma, one last hold from them, it looks like, but Kuro, he's not going to be in that unless he can buy back. A good Ravage going out, catching a lot of heroes, and they are getting a little bit low, but Ame is still the undefeated champ here as the BKB, they're all just ignoring him and trying to run away. The meta is down, but they can freely kite him as much as they want, and Des going out, Nothing to Say, has no mana, so he's only going to be left with this blink to the side, but no mana to be able to TP out. A Yule Scepter into another phase shift, but this time no blink, and still no mana to be able to work with. All right, they got a core kill, and they did defend their throne.
Yeah, the BKBs were huge, absorbed the Ravage for the most part. It looked a little hectic because the Haunt, that's actually what tanked most of the Ravage. Faith Beyond just held on to the second. They do lose nothing to say, but that's one hero. Daedalus now complete on Ame, and it's just you just rinse repeat, really. If you're PSG LGD, wait for all your spells, go back, try and do it again. You're gonna have the shard up soon on the TB. Really like that decision. It's just enormous amount of damage. He has a Satanic and a Daedalus since we last checked on his items.
They're gonna run into Ame first here. Gets off the reflection. He goes slowing down. Dragon Tail first, but the counter Ravage going out. It's Stolen Battle Purple. You know he got the cushion. Actually didn't get it to the Ravage. Oh no! They needed that to be able to save Miracle, as even with the BKB, he's not getting out of here. Arrow going down. Jin Q hits a BKB of Dragonite, so instead he turns to find the captain of Nigma. Kuro dies once again. 70 seconds on the two of them. As now LGD, they can continue their assault on the throne if they want.
A really nice job by Faith Beyond covering his skill there. GH Ravage maybe still wouldn't have been enough, but it would have been cool to see him pick that off.
Yeah, but Faith Beyond, even this far ahead, he is still careful and measured in his moves.
Tower is under attack.
And now it's just a question of, do you keep pushing? Miracle does not have buyback gold. PSG LGD might not know that, but knowing this team, knowing how far ahead they feel, they're likely to just push up high ground anyway. No Ravages, however, so you got to be a little cautious, but it is 5-1-3.
ILTW coming in to the side, trying to go for the Undying first, who gets forced away. They do have the coil onto ILTW. Stolen coil out for the Rubik, but he couldn't get it off. It's nothing to say. Executes him first, and Dominic cleans up the rest. Beyond godlike for him as they close this game out. Very dominant game won by PSG LGD.
Are under attack. Radiant's bottom barracks.
They have been a draw on the group stage, but it's looking like PSG LGD, with a little bit of time,
Radiant's middle tower has
really
fallen.
come up and found the counter. Enigma strategy so far. One last ride in this game one. Jumping forward, mind control. That's a tanky Dragonite, but he looks like nothing compared to Ame and all the damage he's able to pump out. Actually getting Ame a little bit low. Maybe they can kill him. Oh no, the Ravage spoils everything. He gets up as Satanic. They were just giving them just a glimmer of hope before it gets snatched away. Nigma, they hope to be able to make a ride through the upper bracket for an easier run into the grand finals. They're going to need to run this series.
The other team in this tournament, squads have tape on Team Nigma. They've grown a lot as a team, sure, but the evolution of their style was witnessed by all of us, right?
Yeah.
Like grinding through the tiebreaker in the wild card, all throughout the group stage, having to take down VP, one of the better teams in the upper bracket, some would say.
I think one thing of note was LGD's concessions early on. They let Miracle take that mid tower. They didn't rotate a whole bunch of heroes to try and take a team fight they weren't ready for. They let them take that safe lane tower as well. And they bided their time until their big team fight abilities were ready. Because they know Nigma, their playstyle so far has been relatively run at you.
Yeah, exactly. And that mid-game timing that they've utilized with Spectres, with Lunas, it is totally denied. Like, they tried. They played the draft the way it kind of has to be played, but ultimately it's just too many spells. I just, again, hats off to PSG LGD. This was just an elite tier, masterful performance, and I just hope we get a couple more games of it.
Yeah, right now it's looking like LGD is the one gunning for the grand finals with this kind of performance. Let's see if they can keep it up as we head back to our analysts.
Let's see if they can keep that up indeed in that second game, but I'm with Kyle. I really hope that we're going to see a third game between these two teams, because this is the type of Dota we wake up for in the morning. TAUI, that was a very high skill game of Dota, and the level of execution, top notch.
I mean, they touched on at the very end of that cast, the idea of PSG, they're kind of biding their time. We haven't really seen this from many teams, where they actively give away towers in the kind of expectation of a later fight to occur. Like in this game, they gave away the mid tower because they're fighting top. They give away their top tier 1, and then it's suddenly at 20 minutes, you got this Terrorblade coming away from his tri-camp with some, SMY BKB timing instantly into a miracle kill, and then the game's completely out of control. So yeah, I think PSG, it's scary.
Very scary.
And I think what T was mentioning, it's something that I saw a lot from Jiaoid's newbie at TI4. He was very good at knowing when his highest percentage fight was. It's okay to give up a little bit on the map as long as you know there's a higher percentage fight waiting for you in the future. And that, does a newbie deathball meta.
Yeah, and this is the thing, like in this game here, like they had the strategy. They had the ability, like Nigma, after their laning phase, they were able to smoke in and find a couple of kills. Mainly onto the Terrorblade, but it was just like it wasn't giving you kind of a dominance into the game. And yeah, here 20 minutes, this is the key fight that I mentioned. You have the SMI, the BKB, they run into mid, and guess what, if you look at Tidehunter, what's that little green dot below him on the little top scoreboard? That's Ravage. He didn't even need to use it in this team
blue fight. Actually, because he doesn't even have the mana.
Exactly. Terrible mana control.
He doesn't need to save for it, he knows.
Yeah. And that's the thing, it's like and then okay, this is actually a really good point here. 26 minutes, 6 minutes later, Nigma, after suffering for 6 minutes of an onslaught of Ravage and then Coil and then Meta and everything at them, they tried to make their first major team play into the game, but it was way too late. They were already like 10k down, 13k by the end of the fight, and yeah, just a little bit late from Nigma really grouping up.
I think this is something that Effie mentioned to me in the green room, but she was talking about how if Nigma felt like they couldn't fight LGD, so they had to play side lane Dota, and all LGD has to do is just hunt them down, hunt down the rats. As long as they're not overcommitting, which they never did this game to like some TP or map position, you just slowly build up a lead and it results in the timing that you were talking about, T.
It's kind of a difficult thing because like when you look at Nigma's heroes, they kind of want to be proactive. Like in the first 15 minutes, LTW was using Haunt like it was like a simple spell. Like every time it was like bam, pressing it, trying to find a kill, and unfortunately, like they just didn't really get enough courage to run into the Tide, run into the puck. Like when you think about defensive heroes, an Undying with a Tombstone, a Ravage, a Coil, these are like the kings of tower defense. So, Nigma never really just were able to do anything.
I feel like LGD knew that DK was a hero for Nigma. They crafted a strategy specifically for that. I think what DK suffers from is usually his immobility. Heroes like Undying, Tidehunter, and Terrorblade are good at punishing that because once he runs in and commits, he can't keep, his team can't come help him. He's just being slowed and killed. The other thing that I wanted to talk about this game was Team Nigma played their lanes really well, I thought. I think Miracle had a lead mid. The DK, who was first to and counterpicked by the Undying, actually won his lane versus Terrorblade. He kicked him out very early.
Yeah.
It didn't matter because LGD as a team, their draft, how they worked together just was able to completely nullify this hero. He's 1-7 on DK. When's the last time we saw that at this tournament?
Yeah. Well, this is a game that proves that, you don't have to win your lanes to win a game. Don't take that to your pubs. Please at least try and do something there. But yeah, this is just the idea of having an understanding of a team timing is so paramount, and PSG have now proven in multiple series that they can just play a very slow game and then turn up the pace by like 200% and just dominate.
I will say the lane top was weird though. I think Terrorblade didn't have meta at level 3. I haven't seen his 1-2-0. Someone was asking whether there was a misclick. I was like, that's 3 misclicks.
That's a lot.
That's like an intentional misclick.
Okay, no, but so maybe he walked a lane with the Q and then he accidentally was pressing control and hit W and then maybe this.
I don't think those type of mistakes happen at this level, especially with Alme, but
it's at the upper bracket, maybe they're a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, maybe his idea with it, like in their practice, they thought, I cannot beat this DK hero. We're just going to survive the lane. I want higher illusions to go jungle. I'm not sold on it. If that's the style you want to play, why even skill reflection? You should go 0 for 4.
Though.
It did work in the end. They definitely hit their timing. I'm just saying their timing would have been easier if DK didn't win the lane versus counter picks.
Yeah. We touched up on before the game started. We touched on, of course, the battle of the mids is going to be exciting, but also the battle of the fours. And I think that in this game that deserves a little bit of extra attention because we had the Rubik versus Mirana, and of course, GH lately, Team Nigma has had GH start in the ILTW lane on the bottom side. And I felt like that Tidehunter didn't need any extra help, so Zinq had just all the freedom in the world to get all those stacks going as well. And I think that made a big difference, at least Ancient's one, that Miracle wasn't able to steal.
Yeah,
for sure.
Exactly. I think the best thing about Mirana is if you're in a lane where you don't need to help out, you can just become a jungler. Using that arrow, hitting off the big creep. And this is a game where he went for a Vessel. Like, he went for an aggressive starter build that we haven't seen fours normally do. It's a bit more sacrificial. And that is a product of an easier laning phase and the kind of aligning the team for that kind of 20-minute timing.
Yeah, I think he was 9-1 this game, right? I don't know if I saw GH's score wrong, but was he 0-6-4?
Yeah, he was 0-6-4. He had 6.9k net worth and a measly 260.
He got banned out hard, by the way.
He did get targeted.
He got targeted. Yeah. We saw when in the group stages, TNC had a great series against Team Nigma, right? One of their games they played was like, wait a second, which heroes does GH play? has removed them all. I felt like PSG LGD took a little bit of a page out of their book.
Yeah, I do like that style of banning because, like, if you just ban one player out, it's the only realistic way to force someone onto a subpar hero. Dota players in this day and age can play a lot of heroes. There aren't many players are limited to like 1 or 2 anymore. Like, you know.
But now you have 7
This was the GH Rubik, though. I think the main thing is it's not like best of Rubik games, right? Like he's playing into like a Terrorblade. Sure, he can still ravage, but it's not like the clean game of like every spell is great for him.
That's true. And also, I feel like you can also, if you ban all his heroes, and maybe LGD want to force him in, like they baited the DK, right? They had a clear strat against it. Maybe they were baiting. Wait, they even first picked Puck, right? That was actually a full bait. Like they're like, okay, what hero can we pick to make them pick DK?
It's actually beautiful when you think about it. And also, sorry, I was going to say it's the fact that PSG entering this game. We mentioned IO in the pre-draft. They didn't ban out IO in the first 2. It was actually a second phase ban IO. So it's kind of the level of confidence that you have is, okay, well, let's ban out the Invoker, ban out Ench. We'll first pick a Puck, giving them this like, oh, I got him with the DK, and it's like, no, that's you falling into our trap. This is our draft developing.
During the DPC season, we had T actually be the one responsible for checking in on the Chinese region in terms of Dota. And every week again, the Puck was on the docket. You wanted to talk about that Puck every time. Because in Europe, Puck first phase is super popular. In China, nobody first phased Puck. We just saw a first phase Puck from PSG LGD.
Not just first phase. First
overall
pick.
The first
pick in the entire draft. And I guess that's, I guess they're watching the European DPC and they thought they'd throw it in our face.
That's actually pretty funny.
No,
that would be it.
No, probably not. Let's be real. Simply put, China didn't really care about Puck too much, and the kind of the similarities as the DPC.
Why is that though? Do you think?
I think that was during the time when they had more like Treant protectors and kind of
Treant is a classic
they had like
counter,
bigger team fight-esque spells, and they didn't need the mid, and also kind of I think Leshrac and DP were quite prominent. And obviously DK was up there as well, so it just for some reason they just didn't
metas in Dota
it.
are actually so weird. I still remember, I always bring this up, but DAC 2015, no one picked Sniper. It was picked once by Arteezy, and he just died 15 times to PPD, like hex fingering him online. And then that was a patch. That was a ho ha ha patch. No one picked it at the biggest tournament of that patch, and it was like the most absolute monster hero for the next like 4 or 5 months.
All right, you need to help me on this. So when I've been working with teams, sometimes heroes picked are not because they're good, it's more of just a kind of gut feel. And then like you kind of convince your team, like, trust me bro, it's good, then you play it. How many times did you experience that where like you know what the meta is and then someone would go with like a left field suggestion?
No, I think it happens all the time. The thing about Dota players is the game is so inherently complex that it's hard to get a read on anything that's not just like intuitive feeling. And oftentimes, I think when someone is like, I really feel like I should pick this, if I'm drafting, I will almost always pick them that hero because I'll trust, like the gut feeling of a Dota player means a lot. You have thousands of hours of experience. You don't even know what makes it good, but I think more often than not, it ends up winning the game.
It's that level of confidence that you need in a team. I think you have teams who are captained by like a single person on the draft is a bit more kind of like behind closed doors. That's when it's really hard to kind of get the most out. And
to be honest, I don't think there are any teams like that anymore. Where like one person does the drafting. It's always a collaboration because it's really hard to know everyone's role the best. I think honestly in Dota history, at least for the last 6 years, I'm going to say the draft is a team thing.
You're saying collaboration, but actually for PSG LGD, doesn't Sour just make all the calls?
Yeah, but I'm sure he asked the players, like, hey, what do you think is good? And at the same time, like, the draft is a collaboration, but Dota is not a democracy. You don't, like, all vote on your heroes. It's up to the drafter at the end of the day to make sure he has a cohesive lineup. If my carry player suggests, like, some really bad matchup that I know, I'm like, what else you got?
You have to phrase it correctly. You can't be like, that's bad. You'd be like, thank you for the suggestion. We need a bit more of this or that.
I think that's really important, too. You should say why you're uncomfortable with it. And then they can provide a better suggestion. Also, I think at the end of the day, like, you can also say stuff like, I'll take responsibility for this one. Like, that's something that I think a lot of good drafters and captains say. It's like, guys, I know you sort of wanted this. If you want to go a different direction, it's like, guys, just let me try this. I'm the drafter. I think this fits better. It's okay, you know?
Yeah, maybe that is exactly what our man did after that game. It's like, so guys, this one was on me. Going to game 2 with a clean slate.
That's the best thing a captain or coach can say.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, if you just take responsibility, even if it's not your fault, I think it helps the mental game an unbelievable amount because auto players will just hate you for 2 seconds.
Yep.
But they'll be able to play their like A game because like this wasn't my fault.
It wasn't my fault.
This was your fault.
And then everyone's smiling.
Yeah.
They get to go to a
No, I think it's really important.
Well, we are hopefully going to see a lot of players smile, and hopefully we're going to have a third game. I'm a little bit biased to see that third game between these two teams because Dota was so great. We're going to find out, though. A lot of it is going to ride on the draft, and we have the draft panel ready for you.
Surgical precision from LGD in that Game 1 draft. Everything, all according to Keikaku. Zhao Wei calculated it all. First phase puck, China, believe it, it's happening. Only against a European team, only against a team like Nigma that could truly push them to the limits. And maybe it's not even the limit.
Dire team ban.
Looks like, Nigma's like, yeah, we wanted this hero, let's pick it.
Right?
Yeah.
They're just way too comfortable with the heroes they've been
PSG
Dragon on the
LGD's
offlane
turn to
has always
ban.
so far worked for them, so why not? They did have that momentum. Starting to snow. A couple of really good rotations from Jinkyu, Y, just complete. Arrows were on point.
You got 4-man ganked on DK at 5 minutes into the game. Like, how many DKs in the offlane? They're used to getting that free level 6 because you're so tanky, and then you get that tower super on. They didn't end up taking that tower because not only did they kill him, they then rotated 3 heroes back to mid, killed the Leshrac, and then brought the Tide top to stop the DK. But the whole thing about the...
Look at the adjustment.
PSG
they switch up the
LGD.
pass, ban out the puck in the first phase, but they still go with the drag.
See that Undying again.
But this is so interesting. Banning out the puck. Here, right? You lane against. They just want the
10 seconds remaining.
damn hard that they still ban out the puck. We've seen what happened in
5
the
seconds remaining.
How many of these... thing that I found surprising. IO left unbanned yet again. Nigma ignored it, and LGD were like, perfect, we did. And what happens if Ancient Apparition got... still have gone for...
It's interesting that you say that because I saw he went Phase Orb of where his job is to zone people, run in and draw attention to himself, while in this game, Terrorblade is going to do all the work for him, since they have no Ancient Apparition heavy burst in, and go for the sustain heal route, and that's exactly the type of itemization that enables a hero like Undying, because hit alone kind of buff it up. His items are set what are actual
talked about the
10
arenas.
seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Undying loves. Put that boom fight will happen there. Because of that, Mars is a nation. Well, I was thinking maybe so is an option for them as well. They don't play it as Mars. They definitely do. I've been very pleasantly surprised by people the last couple of. They went away from having a brawler type position always. Fade Beyond on some Vipers and Aegis Prophets and Lashes.
Dire team back.
Actually adapt to the meta and have this.
Phoenix, highly contested pick. Seems great in theory that you deny picked it away from the, but you're doing this Phoenix DK lane.
10
Hope they
seconds
don't.
remaining.
It's dying dual strength hero. Phoenix already pretty low base damage.
5 seconds
Kills
remaining.
himself just by using his spells. Pretty much now saying we have a 5 position in lane, and then Mars, one of the strongest heroes in lane, very feast or famine. When it does lose, it looks horrible, but when it does win,
They did play the Phoenix DK before. They actually. I mean, as the combination heroes throughout the game, you don't necessarily have to lane. Up, you can.
PSG LGD's turn
play
to
GH
ban.
can play it, and then you. There's ability pick. And I actually like it. I like it versus Undying. I like. In the lane itself is. It's not good. That's
10 seconds remaining.
It's later on in. Well,
5 seconds remaining.
Together with the.
Dire team back.
How critical. Anti. Not a worry.
You know what you say?
PSG LGD's turn to ban.
Oh, they banned them. Damn it, I didn't
Dire
talk about it.
team
It's
back.
Alina. I wanted the heavy fours to Mirana's the other one.
Mirana is still an option, right? It's not just some GLGD plays quite or he's the kind of a player that can build that Blink Dagger very early on, get on top of the egg. Just has to be careful.
10 seconds remaining.
Done. Eliminates you from the fight and egg off.
5 seconds remaining.
Like I said, there are different heroes, there are different approaches. And go for carries that have built-in big. Ursa right now has doubt as well.
And how about the recovery from this? That was your strategy last time.
They didn't ban out the puck necessarily because.
Sure, but they sent it as mind control.
That's the problem. Yeah, the fact that you want.
Willow possibility here.
PSG LGD's turn to ban.
Ban the Morphling.
I like the Mirana, I still like the Snap. They just have a variety of options.
Is already calculating my dangerous
10 seconds
the
remaining.
8th pick for first pick. Last pick of the second.
5
supposed
seconds
to be the most
remaining.
potent pick. And they snap picked it instantly. That means that Nigma kind of missed way teams of this caliber. One should be that confident. You're supposed to have to think about and react to what that.
LGD's turn to
They
pick.
knew.
Dire team pick.
Wait, the Spectre.
Mirana.
It's a no-brainer. This hero is really strong with the Mars as well. And we've seen how well Zingy plays it. A variety of item builds as well on him. And it's good versus Phoenix. Here we go. This is pretty much what every Nigma fan.
Drow Ranger.
The IO. And PSG LGD respond same way. We've been calling for this in the first game, but they couldn't go for the Drow Ranger because of this time around. Why not?
So I don't love the Drow pick as much.
10 seconds remaining.
But this is a very similar draft to what
5
they ran
seconds remaining.
earlier on, I believe.
Yeah, it was versus Alliance.
It was Drow, Mirana, and then they had a mid-Razor, though.
Yeah, they had X instead of...
Yeah, but I'm saying that it's the idea that Drow patch, similar to Luna, doesn't feel like it can still carry the game, and
Dire
a little bit of
back.
laner. Drow, if they pick like a Razor, they're almost certain to ban it out on the side of Team Nigma. Razor, SF, what else is there? That, like, lane Agi, right?
PSG
Warden probably not happening. You
Probably
want
not happening, yeah.
You want like a face maker, not a
That TA actually is still in the pool.
TA would be viable. There's at least 3. Sniper? No, I'm kidding.
For sure, Sniper.
Yeah, Razor's the number 1. They're gonna ban it. For sure.
10 seconds.
Not only is it good with the Drow, but it's been picked already for LGD, and it's also
5 seconds remaining.
Thinking because this is what Nigma has to have on their mind. Drow, this is a smoke and mirrors. This is not the actual carry. Whatever they last pick here is going to be the actual carry. Could just be Storm, because even though it doesn't benefit from the damage of the agility, it does benefit from the armor and attack speed, which is quite nice. Gives you that long range reach that will help them deal with the IO. They don't have any instant.
Mind any sort of.
I think Storm's the.
I agree with that. Whatever gets on top of Phoenix, whatever gets on top of... Maybe the Storm will...
Dire team ban.
Mid-DK this time. They are banning the...
PSG LGD's turn to ban.
Oh, Viper.
They actually banned out. They actually banned out the Dark...
Expecting a ring.
I like your Storm idea, real.
10 seconds remaining.
You go Lesh again this.
5 seconds remaining.
You actually have big hippie issues. They've done Beastmaster before, but that's Beastmaster out of all offlaners. Then you have 2 strength. I think this last pick is tough for Nigma.
Wait,
but
you're still thinking that they will put Dragonite on them?
Yeah, I'm saying that they need a hero that...
It's not really
sets up the reload.
That out of the box, because... And be mid-up. And also we've seen what happened to Dragonite in the last game. Now the lane is even harder.
Dire team pick.
Dying plus Drow, and there isn't a single support that goes with Dragonite.
LGD Templar Assassin.
They go with the TA, it's not bad. Yeah.
Storm Spirit!
It's almost too perfect again. Tough if he does caught out. Thing is, if they manage to land like 1 or crucial Dragon Tails with that first Blink Dagger, where TA will probably have Dragon Lance at that point, or maybe even a full Deso, then the momentum I think should be enough, because Drow is not the actual character.
Same goes for the Gyro on Nigma. Gyro, that's the... Yeah, you get buffed up by this IO, but it's... You will be fighting very early.
Surprising that a fight early. Why not?
Not a miracle hero, maybe they're thinking like they want.
I believe he did play it though, and that for me is probably Nigma's weakest link. At Dragonite plus IO suffers versus Undying. Dragonite plus Phoenix isn't good versus Undying. So I'm sure what they will do. Have just creep skip deal with it that way, because it will be very difficult to pressure the draft.
I think Nick draft is much firing on all. I'm gonna have to leave. They can get those early, bro. Mobile map control to have the IO. You never back from that with drop on your team.
There's definitely some sides where they managed to triangle. Yeah.
Prepare for battle.
Don't agree more so the blue one. I would lean harder toward.
From my perspective.
Might be a quick 2-0 then. The upper bracket. See how it all goes down with Cap and Kyle with a game.
Thank you, Tsunami. That's right. We're here in Game 2 of Nigma versus PSG LGD. It is the semi-upper bracket finals, and we are looking at a potential 2-0 here if LGD can just sweep it out. But the storyline we've been going with here is that Nigma has gotten very good at being able to learn from all the games that they played so far, and I'm sure there were a couple of things to learn from that last one. Kyle, what would you make of it?
Oh, definitely. First off, they still value the TA. It wasn't opening banned by them in this game, so they saved it all the way for last. This time, I do think Nigma have a draft that can play with enough tempo to potentially overwhelm PSG LGD. The Drow marksmanship procs, I was thinking about its relationship with DK, but it only ignores base armor, not the plus armor from Dragon Blood. So I think MC is really the key. Great hero against Storm and Drow. If he gets off to a nice lead, could be really effective for his squad. And Ancient Control is also going to be a big one, because this game, PSG LGD are the ones without any real method of farming Ancients.
Yeah. At least definitely not big Ancient stacks. The Drow can definitely do them, but usually only a camp or two at a time. It's pretty slow compared to what a Templar Assassin is able to do.
And this time, again, Nigma, they have some actual sustain. Wisp, Phoenix, both got heals, both very likely holy locket heroes. And I've really enjoyed watching LTW play Gyrocopter, so we shall see.
Why Gyrocopter for him specifically?
I just like when he's on a hero that can actually make plays within the game.
Okay.
His Spectre has been solid, don't get me wrong, but that's very much like playing around his team. Gyrocopter forces your team to play around you and your movements and what you want to do. And I think he's been very good when placed in that position.
So you're saying that Nigma can do a little bit of a switch where Miracle, who's mostly been playing active heroes here in this position, he's kind of playing the one as a Templar Assassin, and you're saying ILTW, he's got what it takes to be able to play an active character.
Yes, exactly. All of those things.
Okay.
And I just think it might be a necessary adaptation, right? Because they pretty much stuck to their script in the last game and got rocked. So time to switch things up a bit. Again, G8 on the Wisp. You can't really name a better hero-player combination. This is always fun to watch. And
yeah, it feels like they're pulling back some of the old-school pickups, right? They brought the Rubik, who has been kind of out of meta. And they decided, like, okay, Rubik, it's still a good hero. They picked that one out. Now they're managed to get their hands on the IO. It feels like, against Nigma specifically, if they can prove that these heroes are still good.
I saw some comment. It's like, okay, you know, Rubik, if it takes a legendary player in a wonderful Rubik game, having to go absolutely bonkers to make the hero look pickable, it's probably just not very good. And in this case, the one other relationship to discuss would be the Undying and the Phoenix. It's a really cool idea where they don't really counter each other, but it's nice to have Tomb or Egg against each other. So you have that area control. In addition, Gyro really just removes Undying's Tombstone from the game. I wouldn't be surprised to see why. Potentially just skip it. Not entirely, but yeah, he actually is already 1-1. I could see him potentially go like 2-2. We'll see, but it's very tough to make plays with Tomb when Gyro can just clear out all the zombies. Although it is a weird interaction with active Bulwark, because the flak shots that would hit zombies now will go to the Mars. Like, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And technically, Tomb inside the arena wouldn't be hit at all.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. So there's definitely, I feel like he's definitely still maxed out Tombstone, though. Even if the Gyro can counter it, it's like too good of an ability, right? And you need that kind of frontlining, hey, hit this instead of hitting my Drow Ranger, right? Everybody needs to be able to create some space for this Drow, who is going to be hoping to be able to keep her distance away from the Templar Assassins and Gyrocopters.
Faith Beyond's active toggling to try and prevent last hits.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, really good Mars players, you can always tell. They do in these 1v1s, they activate their Bulwark every once in a while, see if they can deny the range creep. Yep.
LTW missed it.
Yeah, he had a Rocket Barrage for the other CS, so he almost missed 2 CS as a result of that play.
So good. Dota is so beautiful when played at this level, because you could spend an hour talking about the drafts, the warding, the positioning, the micro moves within lanes, rotations. Never going to end. And
yeah, and then sometimes you just have a weird spell interaction that somebody's using really well.
Yeah, this will be the matchup to watch, though.
Okay.
I think Miracle is going to have to go off, and nothing to say.
Radiant's courier
good pick off. That'll take away the Null Talisman, and does kind of drag the creep wave with him. Not sure if Miracle wants that or not, but...
Kuro, is he going to check Rune, too? He's got to be cautious now. His NQ is already on the Rune.
Radiant's
has no
bottom
dive.
tower is under attack.
So he just heads to the top lane instead. Is the Dragon Knight really not needing him? I guess Drow before you have, I mean, even later on, right? Drow versus Dragon Knight. Dragon Knight has this plus armor that's good against marksmanship, but before that, his natural tankiness serves it even better. I guess he doesn't want to support sapping his levels.
Well, we're gonna see. That's I don't know, to be honest. Like they're just both supports ditching, but if Undying chooses to come back and start smacking MC in the face, it's definitely going to be difficult for him.
Coming back now, but Kuro is also on his way here. He's going to double stack real quickly before he shows up in lane, I believe. Gyrocopter. Looks like they're battling up a little bit here, taking a bit of damage, but as soon as he tethers on in, they realize, okay, we can't hit ILTW. It's a good little bit of poke, but can't do much more.
Let's see. Okay. I'm trying to see. I really like the maneuver here. It's going to get planned out, but Kuroki actually just sentryed the sentry ward that was blocking the TA easy camp.
Yeah.
That's been active for some time. It's hurt the TA quite a bit. If you look at the CS, you never see TA below Storm just because of how much earlier. I've seen TAs oftentimes farming this camp at 1 minute 30 into the game, but unable to do so because of the pre-block.
What does that mean net worth wise? Let's see what the difference is between these two teams, because easy camp isn't worth that much. So TA still able to stay ahead despite that attempt. So in that theory, right, the easy camp, if it was there, Templar Assassin would be even farther ahead.
Yeah. Thing is, Storm more of a linear scaler, whereas TA, as soon as you're online and capable of taking ancient stacks, that's when your net worth starts to skyrocket.
Yeah.
And level 6, so the traps come out, double warded as well. Nothing to say. Going for the bottle refill. Ooh. I always forget that the increased what is it, item give range always freaks me out a bit. I'm like, oh, you're gonna miss it, but you always get it onto the hero now.
So let's manage to find an illusion rune for the refill on Miracle's bottle, so he doesn't need the supports, but maybe he needs some help right now. Uses that illusion rune to be able to disjoint a bit, but the arrow lands on point. Still though, GH healing him up, nothing to say. He's the first to fall. Without their damage dealer, Miracle, he's gonna actually wand up and turn around and fight. The tombstone's gone, and Miracle looks to be able to get his revenge. Dodges the spear. It's gonna be Kuro who tanks that one instead. Faith Beyond looking to be able to even out the odds here. Jinkyu jumps away. Miracle laying the trap to help GH get away. Oh, cutting down the tree and sidestepping to the right. The arrow dodge, and now ILTW is the one here. They're not going to chase after that rocket, though.
That was really cool. Kuro with a slight juke on Kuro, letting him take the spear, and then another nice one to dodge the arrow.
Yeah, very nicely played.
Hopefully these guys got enough time on the trap levels in Aghanim's Lair. What was the name of that minigame?
Aghanim's Labyrinth?
Yeah. Never
got to get those sort of things right. That's a Valve product right there, Kyle. Come on.
Bring it back. Might need it for TI if these Morana 4 positions keep getting picked up. MC just trading hits with the Drow. At this point, level 3 in your Dragon Blood, you just can't touch him anymore. And yeah, as expected, just right back to base. And this is now a jungle.
Alright, so she's getting to the triangle. Faith Beyond looking to be able to keep that triangle safe by sitting in lane here, keeping the gyrocopter out of the way, while in his rotation to catch some of the experience from this push at bottom lane gets caught by the Phoenix Dragon Knight. So nobody's going to collect that experience. Nobody's going to be there for that gold. The creeps are just going to die. And tower will inevitably fall at this rate.
Yeah, laning phase going much better for Team Nick in comparison to the first, but more importantly, it feels like the mid-game team fight is a lot more even. They have answers to the Undying. There's no Tidehunter in sight, and DKTA are just so much easier to play around in a way than the Leshrac. Miracle also went for a very greedy build in the previous game, was incredibly squishy, and
okay, apparently rotation from nothing to say with the double damage rune. He got the bottom lane. This time around, he wins the 50-50, and he, like Miracle, uses that power rune to great success.
Given water runes at 2 and 4, but these power runes at 6 and 8, still incredibly devastating. Really well done by nothing to say. The perfect rotate, and he gets the key kill.
Egg. He is just poking at mind control here. Is that maxed out frost arrows? It really looks like it. Mind control, he's like, come on, throw the arrow already, but the arrow never comes down. Mind control is going to live.
You just can't kill the hero. He has 4 points Dragon Blood. Like, you just don't kill him.
Yeah.
Miracle, yeah, really nice job. You want to always win the Sentry War. You can see Nigma actually have 2 down to ensure that these TA traps can stay set up.
Why do you think, by the way, that Ame did go back to bottom lane? You think he just doesn't think Nigma can get aggressive?
Looks that way. I think he might be mistaken. He'll probably find himself in trouble.
On to the high ground, but not out of sight.
This is why I don't want him here, because now Nigma, they know, wait, he TP'd here. It's going to be back off cooldown, but oh, they're going to go for it.
Fortunately, the Dragon Tail stun is going to be too far away. Nice play by Ame. He reads the fact that he should not be TPing back to base. TPs to the opposite side of the map, so he should be able to free farm. Looking to be able to trade towers as well.
The TP out, that's the difference between an elite carry and a good carry, because if he's still in lane, he's trusting in his ward, he's just dead there, but ultimately he just brings in a rotation, obviously expected it, and gets the TP away. So he's a minute late to the offlane, but the same result. They'll kill tower in a trade. OMC. Tank and arrow.
This time, top lane, nothing to say. Gotta get a regen rune. Last 2 power runes for him. Really impactful.
Seriously.
Double damage and regen for a storm.
Dire's top
and meanwhile, though, Miracle, he's been away from the runes due to the ancient stack he just farmed out.
Yep.
Going for the Dragonlance. I like this build a lot. I think the TA Blink Dagger style is just kind of dead. You have to play like you're a real hard carry. Dragonlance into Deso, and you're strong. You look to make a fight. In addition, you don't have the same delivery issues because you might be tethered. You got a bunch of stuns in front of you.
Nothing to say. All over the place with that zip.
I'm giving up.
That's fine to kill anyway on the Phoenix. Nigma's are going to be setting up here. Should be able to get this fast kill on the Undying. The Tombstone is out though. ILTW needs to be able to deal with that one, but he's going to be speared into the arena wall. And nothing to save with the follow-up. Chain disables. GH doesn't have relocate, so he can't save his carry here. The arrow going to go wide, but the shots on GH, they're going to be on point.
Really nice job, PSG LGD. The panel brought it up. In the first game, they let these tier 1 towers die. This time, different type of draft, different style. They have to try and defend them, and they do just that. I now understand the Tombstone inside the arena, it's just not killable, it feels, unless somehow Team are like 3 heroes inside of it already. And that's a dangerous position to be in.
Faith Beyond doing what he can to tank these range shots for the tower. Miracle actually saying, okay, you want to take some shots? How about some of these? Throws a meld out, tries to push Faith Beyond back. It works for a moment here. And they should be able to finish off this tower. PSG LGD, they have been a bit more loath, as you said, to give away these towers. And it looks like they're going to keep going here. The Supernova on out, so PSG LGD can't fight back. They're going to lose. Why? We'd just have to watch him die.
Both teams so good at cutting their losses. I think that's the hallmark of PSG LGD so far this tournament. Every time you see them lose an objective, at most it feels like they bleed their 5 position. It's very rare you see them lose 2 or 3 heroes in a bad fight. When they commit to an engagement, oftentimes they're the winners. And in this game, they should have the ability to pick and choose most of their clashes, but you know, Team Nigma, they do have the global mobility. You see the sentries spreading across the map. Traps soon to probably do the same. But for now, Miracle will retreat back into his jungle. MC, is he getting a Blink Dagger anytime soon?
Yeah, that's what he has queued up next, but
very close.
Very, very close to it indeed. And they really need that gap closing measure against the Drow Ranger, but probably that's for later on. More importantly, right now, they need ways to be able to catch the Storm Spirit. And our panel was talking about it. I think BSJ said that it's going to be so important. They're like 2 very key pickoffs on this Storm Spirit could turn the game entirely into the favor of Nigma.
Feels like it's much easier said than done after watching the Puck performance in the previous game. I love the build too. Kaya into the Sanj, just for the status resist. It's really effective in a game like this. You want that extra HP too, because if you do die, it'll be in a DK stun. A lot of burst necessary.
Are you guys gonna play the game?
Maelstrom up for ILTW. Taunting, as he's been probably the most active of all of the Nigma players with this.
Got one of the best fan packs, though.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Love the fan pack edition, by the way. Such a cool way to kind of show love to teams across the world.
Ame gonna be found with a heavy the smoke rotation, but like Shadow's not going to save him. Neither is the arena. In fact, Base Beyond can do little with this as the spear is launched onto a Dragonite. As you can see, tanky, full to the brim, and not going to die anytime soon. And they're going to try and play this game super fast, and picking up the pace, going for Roche.
TA's got a DD somewhere across the ocean. I hear an old economics professor shaking his fist because this DD guarantees the Roche. The scan comes out. Goddamn double damage. Shouldn't work on Roche, but it does. Initiation immediately. Careful about the high ground. He gets 2 down there.
Nice spear. And there is the tomb on the high ground here. Ame, he's feeling good about this fight. Long jump in from nothing to say. Identifying GH. Trying to go for him first. The Supernova to protect, but they can maybe get away from this one as Mind Control dropping lower and lower. They finish him off. Decay does enough damage, and even though they have the Aegis, they will lose this fight. Nigma will keep that extra life intact for the Templar Assassin, yes, but they stumble into a bad fight there.
Yeah, it's the high ground tomb, Cap. You can't fight into it. It's the strongest position. It is what makes Undying viable. Whenever he's picked this tomb, this fight's impossible now. DK, he's unable to kill off those zombies. By the time he dies, there's like 6 of them on him. Yeah, there's an egg, but the trouble is it keeps Nigma in this area. They're able to be picked apart. Decay spam. Arrows come out. Drow just pummeling in damage. The Frost Arrows plus zombie synergy is actually pretty sick because pre-BKB, like, Drow just can't move. DK can't move.
Yeah, that's a good point. And it really does allow this Drow Ranger to be able to keep her distance. And we saw that put to great effect. So the next time Nigma are thinking about taking a team fight, they're going to need to set it up a little bit better. Feels like they almost felt like that was just going to be a gimme kill that they could get. After all, we've got Aegis, we're strong. Not the case, though. Gotta respect LGD and their capabilities right now. They're gonna try and bring down Miracle twice. Aegis first, spirit him back deeper into the rest of the teams. Oh, but relocate out. That's gonna be able to bail him away. GH nicely done. And now it's LGD. Maybe caught in this one. Pushed back by the Gus. They're trying to deal with the Tombstone. They're trying to put out the damage, but the Gyrocopters just died so quickly without GH's tether.
He's just not nearly as tanky as he thinks he is, Cap, and he didn't even get the wand off. They're fighting into Tombstone. Yeah, they cleared it, but it was just a little too late. GH brings his team away. They no damage. Hang on.
Go back in, trying to execute the Drow Ranger. Real quickly, they got him. Massive amounts of minus armor coming from Miracle with Mind Control, outputting a bit of physical damage as well. The side blades pumping in a bit more. Sin-Q, he's going to be target. They do manage to get an extra kill on top of this one. Nigma not going to go down without a fight here, it seems, in this game, too. They are currently holding the net worth lead, holding the Aegis still for another 2.5 minutes, and showing that they can outfight LGD.
That was huge. GH got his mech delivered during that fight. It would help keep the TA alive and in fighting shape.
I'm sorry, why? So 3 kills, essentially, from that team fight.
A haste rune on Miracles what set that all up, though. He also got the Deso timing. We're going to see in the replay. Yeah, Drow dies and just like one hit, Miracle pops off. That was a sick kill, but here comes the mech. There it is, popped. Now Miracle survives. That allows them to pursue for more.
Yeah, I mean, he would die and he would come back with the Aegis, but the fact that he would look through it and be unable to pursue for the Mirana kill is...
leads them to the kill bottom too, because they get those extra seconds. Instead of having to regroup around that respawn, they can continue pressing. They find an Undying bonus kill. And oh my, Miracle suddenly 3K ahead of the game. Like, you glance over. Yeah, that's TA Dota.
Yeah, and Templar Assassin for you, for sure. He's going to be working on the BKB next rather than the Blink Dagger. I wasn't sure which way you would go since you have the extra life of the Aegis. And
no Blink.
No Blink?
Blink is no damage. You have catch. You've got team fight in front of you with the Gyro and the DK. Your job is DPS. And if he has BKB, suddenly what really threatens him? Right?
You don't think he'll ever go Blink in this game? Because big part of your job isn't it killing the Drow? I feel like if they don't get on top of the Drow, they're not going to win fights.
Oh my god, DD, this man. There are some forces at work. Our screenwriters have realized Team Nigma, they might need a little bit of help with their plot armor.
Yeah, well, I mean, we already gave them that helping hand during the wildcard series. Managed to get through there ever so barely.
Definitely feeling good, but I like what PSG LGD are doing here. We saw it in the first game as well. They were willing to let tier 1s go, but they will not give up tier 2. They will not give up Outpost. It doesn't matter if TA has Aegis. They're going to fight for their lives around that tier 2.
They were set up in advance. They even had double wards prepared. Like, that was their battleground. Gonna invis up. What will they find? Nigma's split right now.
Smoking through. They find the best situation here is being able to kill this Phoenix, chain stun him, no supernova, and then eventually run down the Dragonite, take that tier 1. The problem is, diving into the tier 1 off lane, it's always a very crowded area. There's a lot of TP points available for Nigma to respond.
And they have a perfect setup. Oh, they see him now. They know they're smoked in the area.
Yep.
Great trap, Miracle.
It pops. They immediately pop Moonlight Shadow. They're like, oh crap, they know we're here.
The beauty of the draft when you have the Wisp is that Nigma, they're farming in 3 places. Yeah, they can play conservatively under the tier 1 bot because Miracle's farming and the Wisp Gyro are farming. Miracle just hold TP. They represent being 5, but they're in 3 places at once. With the DD bottled, BKB just 400 gold away. They would really love to get that off. And
it's on its way now.
LTW with his BKB as well. This is the huge timing for Team Nigma. Double BKB on the cores. As the panel said, though, killing the Storm, that'll be the tough part. Might not have to, though, if you can get on top of the Drow, who has started to fall off. The downside of this hero, of course, especially when you go the Max Frost Armor build, you just aren't farming very much. 7.7k net worth, this is not a threat.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those heroes that doesn't farm as fast as others, but it does, she makes better use of the farm sometimes. Due to her way to be able to burn through armor, Faith Beyond, very nicely done by him.
Yep, and you can see he's going to be building up for a Vanguard, primarily because of the Crimson Guard effect. You combine that with the Bulwark, that'll severely limit the damage LTW is able to pump out. Right now, Team Nigma, they're feeling themselves. It's a good spot to be in. They have DD, no Aegis. Doesn't really matter. That's a perfect trap.
They're going to try and take this somewhere, but it's not like they really know they have a numbers advantage because of the relocate. There would still be... The arrow catches him. He melts immediately right before it hits him. They do have the sentry already in place, perhaps knowing that this fight was going to be coming to their tier 2 tower. Relocate up to the top lane. Mind Control has found his opening. It's just Y, so it's an okay pickoff. But for Dragon Form and Relocate, I'm not loving it. You could see LGD, they're already making a move to the bottom lane. They're going to try and catch these heroes now while the Relocate is still active, but they ran into Miracle first, and they didn't manage to burst him down. Throws out the arena and keeping Miracle at bay here. He's not going to pop his BKB, running out of the magic damage. Woo, man, that was a close call there. Gyrocopter almost sniping him with that ultimate.
It's been a while since TI6, but Faith Beyond still playing like a TI winner.
Yeah, he certainly is.
That kill on Undying, that sets up the area control, though. Now suddenly they feel more just confident pushing for the tier 2. They recognize there must be a ward there because Miracle was jumped from very far away. Nice job, Nigma just playing the map right. Curl was still there. Can't dive too deep.
Radiant's bottom tower
onto a TA. He had the BKB, still held it, and that's the outpost. And the whole squad 3-mans it, and they get it just before 22 minutes. That's an XP boon. Another one.
It's not that much, though.
What? It's something.
I mean, I think it's like... I think it totals up to like 100 experience or something.
Of experience. They have DD. It's time to go. Double BKB. Nigma have all the shots right now.
Oh, trying to get the Dragon Tail. The Manta already going off, but he misses. Silent still, though. The Moonlight Shadow going out will help him hide, help him TP out. Ooh, nice arrow again. Stopping mind control and allowing Ame to be able to TP away peacefully.
Dire are
they are still very much in control of this game. A little bit of edit to the draft. Nigma's mid game is significantly stronger with the Gyro than it was a Spectre. And they're punishing PSG LGD for their lack of battle readiness. And Beyond once again, in a little bit of danger.
Is he looking for him? Oh my god, he juked him out. Can he keep this going? The blink for Blink. Now, mind control, if he times this right, he can stop. Oh, nice spear back from Faith Beyond. Because if he did the breathe fire on him and put the Blink Dagger back on cooldown, that TP, oh, it makes it again. Damn, LGD playing with margins here.
Oh my god, that's like narrowest of margins to 3 kills. Drow, Mirana, and Mars all surviving within a moment of each other. They do go for the blink on Miracle. And In this spot, I can see it because you're ahead. Like, it's very obvious PSG LGD are avoiding combat, and now with the Blink Dagger, you can punish them a little bit for it. Roche up. Do you fight a PSG LGD? They look like they might be thinking about it, but oh, hey! Double damage.
It happened again. And again. And again, and again, and again, and they're doing Roshan so quickly that LGD really isn't going to be here in time. Best they can hope for is a snipe on Roche with the arrow, but...
Who takes the shard is the question.
I'll take that.
Templar Assassin for the silence, I think, is kind of the go-to. Eventually you'll get the Aghanim Scepter, which makes the silence even more powerful.
Stupendous!
Then you just, voila, appear with an astral projection and their silence.
That is actually quite nice against Storm. The Lincolns that he just picked up, that's to counter the one thing Nigma had until that moment to deal with him, which is a point-blank DK stun. Now, a silence, he has no removal as soon as that illusion rune leaves his bottle, so it's actually perfect shard. And that second Roche, the TAW, it's only 24.5 minutes in. Like, that's a really fast second Roche.
Yeah. Yeah, if he runs into like a double trap scenario, he could very easily get silence, relocated on.
Yep.
If a second trap is somewhere nearby, hits him again, like, you don't even need a stun at that point.
Miracle, he's setting up for it.
They see each other.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Knows that right now LGD is not the predators, they are the prey. They're currently trying to outmaneuver Nigma. A trap that doesn't quite spot. Nothing to say. He's going to pop out now, see if he can kill Creep Wave, and then probably jump TP away. The silence isn't going to last for long. The second trap going off, though. He zips one direction and does the long zip to ensure his TP goes off.
Yeah, the thing is, though...
Oh, look at that. He's not going to go BKB. Even though he just got hit by a silence trap, he is building into the Aghanim Scepter.
I think it's necessary, though.
Yeah.
Like, a defensive item is just going to leave them damage locked out because they still won't win a fight. They actually need an offensive powerhouse, and that should keep the Tomb alive a little longer. The Drow Volley will land. Like, both teams playing well. Nigma getting everything they can, just so close to a bunch of extra kills. But PSG LGD, they're bleeding, they're bloody, but they are not out of this game. We've seen how powerful a Drow high ground defense can be, especially when it's backed by Mars, by Undying, a potential arrow coming out. The Aegis is still in play, and LTW wants this tier 2.
Faith Beyond. It's a CS with the spear, blinks away before mind control could catch him. The tier 2 is still going to fall, though. Nigma beginning to tighten that noose bit by bit. LGD feeling the map being locked out. Nothing to say. Is out here with Y. They spot him on a ward spot, so they're going to relocate. Heavy commitment. Oh, actually, silence too. Nothing to say. No more traps to be able to catch him, and he's got plenty of mana to keep on zipping. Traps, though, he's got to watch out for those.
It's getting real spooky. Miracle very much a force, and the thing is, because of the Wisp factor, LTW, he's starting to catch up with net worth too. He's actually farming more than Miracle, who transitioned into this more of a playmaker, true assassin style, because LTW now with an Ags on top of the BKB, he's very strong. And mind control, yeah, he might not have the net worth, but this DK hero, there's a reason they're first picking it. Point blank stun, incredibly durable.
They're trying to get control of their triangle again because they know the Templar Assassin is still bottom lane. And this is a really nice move. Long zip over, trying to kill GH as quick as possible. Nothing to say, does have him dead. Lincoln's gonna block the stun. BKB activated by ILTW, and that's one of his longer ones.
That's something. The BKB timings are what to watch for on Team Nigma. Right now, they've got a pull on all three cores.
Look at all these traps. He is well prepared. If nothing to say, wants to come and try and push out this bottom lane again, he's going to make sure he has a better chance of catching him. But PSG LGD with GH dead, we're saying, let's keep this going. The smoke up, they're going to be able to find Curl. Both supports should die here as the arrow follows that one up. Nigma are actually going to try and take this fight. They don't have buybacks on the support. Trying to do this. The Tombstone's going to go out. Long zip over, catching ILTW while at the same time mind control and he's able to Tombstone while he's still BKB'd up. ILTW going for Faith Beyond, who takes up as much damage as possible, but ILTW gets burned out by nothing to say. He didn't have a BKB for that fight because he used it earlier to TP away, so I am puzzled Kyle, why Nigma chose to take that fight.
Just feeling a little cocky, right? They had the Aegis, they were trying to use it, but you saw Miracle just got ignored. He had blinked in initially, nothing to say, just whizzed right past him to get the gyro. As you said, BKB had been popped. Man, PSG LGD, they're just on top of the cooldown usage, and they got the core target. Nigma ran into Tombstone, and they initiate on the Mars. Yeah, they kill the Mars, but just not a great fight. To your point, GH did not have buyback. Otherwise, maybe that turns on its head a little bit. Nigma were kind of playing like he did have it.
I want to say, it's getting a little spooky for me, because I have seen so many Drown games where she does manage to come back off of like just a couple of picks, stalls out the game, and then you go for that high ground push, and all of a sudden you realize like, oh, this hero's like 6, 7, 8 shotting my carry. Like she's just shredding this agility hero that we have who doesn't have any bonus armor. And I think, it's our gyrocopter. I don't think he's built anything that has bonus armor. Am I wrong in that?
No, it's a good point. 19 TA the same, just a flat 20. So the specific timing will be the Scotty, because all of a sudden we've discussed it, but it's not the Spirit Vessel that's the real answer. They have one already on the Mirana, but it's the Scotty. You add those two things together, and suddenly the Wisp heal factor just kind of gets removed. Consider that, you know, he's going for an Aeon Disc, not a Holy Lock. I actually like that because they don't want to overdo the healing, because ultimately PSG LGD at a point will negate that. And if you've committed too much to that as your win condition, it puts you in a real tough spot as Team Nigma. Instead, they have the Lotus Orb on the Phoenix. It's very good to remove the Vessel to potentially prevent stuns, but also they're now going for the Aeon Disc on the Wisp. That is going to be huge.
Yeah, I would say probably a bit of that is the fact that GH has died to nothing to say like 3 times in a row now for these long zips. He's like, I got to value my own life a little bit more. Miracle playing around with this Invis rune, hoping somebody from LGD is going to break formation, but they've been very disciplined in that.
The Aghanims is up on the Storm. He also took the Vortex talent, so if he gets a big pull, that's a 3-second stun on numerous heroes.
Okay, my one thing with this is they don't have like an AoE stun to combo with this.
True.
Like literally all they have is maybe Mars gets a shard, and he can spear 2 people instead of the 1, but like,
it's just the damage from the Storm itself, right? You get a big Remnant, and he's talented for that as well, into an Overload. Perhaps that's just enough. And also, you're going to be clumped as Team Nigma. You're going to be forced to hold hands in a team fight. This kind of provides that AoE threat. Oh, nice BKB.
Turning around, dodging the Dragon Tail, jumping forward, nothing to say. Managed to get the AoE disabled, keeping Miracle out of the team fight. That allows Ame to be able to fight a bit more with the mind control. Dragonite, they get away through the arena. The BKB is pursuing here. Managed to get wide, keeping out Faith Beyond. He's not going to be able to do anything. Burned down by the Sun Ray of the Phoenix.
Yeah, they don't have damage cap. That was, I mean, Faith Beyond, his job, he just tried to defend the Tombstone, and he did his best. Played nearly the whole fight with Bulwark toggle, but you're right. Where is the damage? That was a 2-man pull. There's no follow-up. You can't kill Kuro, and Nigma are just way stronger in a fight like that.
I think it's mind control, right? If mind control always positions himself where he's on top of the Ground Ranger, maybe he's disabling marksmanship, but even if he's not, if he's saying like, hey, in order to get to my other heroes, you have to go through me first. Like, Drow isn't that kind of hero. You can't just walk past people, right? So he has to hit this Dragonite, but the Dragonite is so tanky against this Drow, and he's got his BKB as well, so he's not taking magic damage from anybody else. That all their damage just onto this one hero that won't die.
That's true.
They're going to move over, swooping over to Miracle, and they do manage to catch Drow Ranger this time around. The BKB, it may not be able to save them. He's running. Nigma, though, catching up. Miracle pops the man to high ground. Oh, turn around, but the BKB pop up Miracle. Where are all these shots going? They're all getting blocked by the Bulwark. It's not good enough, though. The Supernova on the high ground. Nigma take full control of the LGD base now. Long dip in, though. They're going to be able to pull a couple here with this one. The arrow following up, managed to land on the Phoenix. Miracle, though, is walking away, and that is what LGD cannot abide by. Nothing to say, trying to put out measly bit of damage onto ILTW, but they really need Ame for that one. Ame's being chased down by Kuro. Kuro is actually going to go for this one, but the man to pop turns around quickly, kills the Phoenix. It was a good try, but the Captain Enigma, but he's still dying. Nothing to say, back and forth. Now it's used all of his mana to be able to kill the gyrocopter, but can he get out? The Bulwark shots do not absorb the damage. Stormseer dies, Stormseer zips, Stormseer looks to be able to stop the TP, but he doesn't get there in time. Instead, he'll have to content himself with kill on mind control, but it's just not the same as getting that kill onto Miracle.
Radiant's really well done by Nigma. They just hard commit. They have the damage. You can see they threw everything, but they got on top of the drought. That's the key.
Nice arrow.
And you're right. There's just not follow-up. A huge pull off the buyback, but for what? You know, you got Kuro, you landed an arrow, and eventually you wipe the floor with Team Nigma, but Roshan will not be spawning anytime soon. Just in 30 seconds, but that won't be fast enough, I don't believe.
To be clear, what you're saying is, like, his initial jumps aren't doing a ton. Yeah. A big part of the reason they win that fight, right, is Nigma has dug in so deep, and it's against a Storm Spirit. Like, Storm Spirit buybacks are, like, the most valuable thing when you're committed like this as LGD. Back inside the game, though, nothing to say. Oh, it's a haste room.
Might have died if not for that. Yeah, Daedalus TA. Like, there's just so much raw damage output on the side of Team Nigma. Like, the draft of PSG LGD, it's damage mitigation, but they simply can't mitigate through all the damn damage. And you can see he's consistently placing himself between the enemy team and his allies, and he's just doing a great job so far. Roshan has spawned, though. They are into the pit.
They have to get this. They blew every single one of their core buybacks, so this is a must-have second life for them. Miracle's gonna jump in. Can he manage to steal this Aegis? He's trying to kill the Draw Ranger first before they can pick up that secondary life with their follow-up shot. It takes it away and snatches up the Aegis into the Draw Ranger. Actually, Storm turned instead. Storm with that secondary life. Can he actually win this fight? The spear on through. Keeping Miracle out of the fight. He does end up dying here, but ILTW representing so much damage, cleaning up most of LGD, so even if they get away with the Aegis on the Storm Spirit, it's him and his two supports. That's it.
A couple more now, buybacks from Miracle and Kuro. They recognize, whoa, we've a huge window. They know for a fact there cannot be a buyback on the Drought or the Mars. They used it in the previous fight. You have a 5-on-3 for a full minute plus.
Nothing to say. He's going to have to do some wild shit here to be able to hold this game together. He's got a full minute of trying to defend this throne. He can zip back and forth so many times, but will he have enough damage to keep them away? He's trying to kill creeps right now, but there's still 2 melee creeps he has to deal with. Pulling him out. He's got to just keep pulling him. It doesn't even matter if he loses his life here. As long as he keeps the creeps away from the base and the backdoor protection is up, it's okay. Zip away. Get out of this one. It doesn't look like. Oh, whoa! The Lotus Orb coming out from Jinkyu. He snuck in with the Moonlight Shadow and managed to save his ally. Backdoor protection. It's down though. The creeps are still coming in. They may have saved the Storm Spirit, but he's got to figure out a way to be able to stall this. He kills the creep wave. Backdoor protection will be coming up soon, but maybe not fast enough. The tier 4 towers, they're already dead. The throne is exposed. Nigma's gunning for it. 15 seconds left. The Drought Ranger, but it's going to be about 10 seconds too late. Nigma finish up the game. A giant roar coming from the side of Nigma as they've evened up the series now.
What an incredible game. I love this. I'm so happy we're going to go to game 3. Unbelievable performance from both sides. Team Nigma closing it out. You can see a little bit of a pop-off. They know they're still a game away, but they're feeling themselves. To kill the Storm, the creeps, and they go for the win. The juggler. That is just awesome stuff to see. The buyback decision. We're going for the win here. We know we have the numbers advantage. I love the shot calling. Love the adaptation. Way more damage into the mid game. They're controlling the...
Radiant's middle barracks are under attack. 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 Radiant's middle barracks are under attack.
I've been wanting this.
Radiant's middle barracks are under attack. 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 Radiant's middle barracks are under attack.
tower. So it felt like last game that backs against constantly having to fend off the aggressor, and they just needed more resource. Every single thing.
10
Storm
seconds
runs out of mana.
remaining.
He's not like Puck where ganks with coil and then goes back to pushing all of
5
his mana.
seconds remaining.
And then by the time they're alive again, the lanes are.
Little bit.
PSG LGD. Dire
Very
team
decent.
ban.
The IO. This most likely will be.
Ten seconds remaining.
5. and
5 seconds
5 I would
remaining.
have said if it was maybe even like a. It's not a very. I mean,
PSG LGD.
I would not give
I'll give
ban.
Ame that profit.
but
That's
I guess
profit.
Innocence could get away.
If it was Eternal Envy,
They played
they
it.
give it.
Yeah.
They actually did play it on 5 and it was very popular. It fell out of favor.
It's because at this point we're convinced that D.
Please
10
see,
seconds remaining.
see it's
5
Four.
seconds remaining.
liner of a. One thing that they have. From the Phoenix.
So my initial impression that I gave the last game was even the game they won, really were just constantly had the higher net worth. Death Prophet, best tempo setting, aggressive hero, inevitably tower, similar to the way you've been talking about Nigma. So I do like the suggestion. This is what we've been dealing with constantly. It seemed like it was just a bit too much last game, especially with IO. We probably have to get.
Are you banning Mars?
PSG LGD.
On which
team
side?
ban.
That Timber. I actually, outside of Nigma. For you, Dragonites. Lane.
Dire team
I
PSG
really like the
LGD.
I'm a little bit PSG LGD. Because this hero was first 2 bans by them, by PSG LGD many games. They just complete
10
both
seconds
DK.
remaining.
Just not respect faces.
5 seconds remaining.
And even though you have DK done, he always goes for that FY and. That if I were playing.
Dire team pick.
happened. This could be Zin Cube. Could be Fate Beyond as well. This could be a 4 brings.
Too good of a lane match.
Yeah.
10 seconds remaining.
Maybe a Willow.
5 seconds remaining.
Grimstroke.
So no. I like the Lina.
I have to believe this Terrible hero. I have to believe.
There is the.
I think they need.
Rana sent.
It's burst in lane, but it's not burst. Talking, you have a Dragon Lance die, and I also think a lot of the carries right now are not
PSG
damage oriented because
LGD.
so much survivability that I have to be in it.
Still go for what?
Well, this is a sick PL game. Play PL, LG. Insanely good PL game.
Love PLR.
10 seconds remaining.
I believe they also lost.
5 seconds remaining.
Fire is also. It is good versus Steve.
I just think you have solutions with kind of like should have enough to. My carry doesn't have to. Heroes
deal with the rest.
Yes, incredibly annoying. With the new.
Have enough. I really wouldn't mind the Void. It is a same exact matchup. Day, I believe. Spirit.
Long fights are the name. You could even go Magnus, which because they are relied on stun. You go like Mag Troll. That would be really cool.
LGD.
Phantom Lancer.
I don't think this hero's particular about as good as it.
Dire team ban.
Does rely on mana.
By the way, I believe that they did play the PL with me.
I will.
That's
might
the
be.
game. No, I'm just. That's the game. EL.
10 seconds. PSG LGD's turn to ban.
Their matchup.
Are they not going the Ether?
They are.
Okay.
I haven't seen the TIS team. EL's is
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Really? Okay.
viable.
Dire team ban.
Most heroes, when they're losing, have a very formula for what heals formula. He offers no pressure on the map at all for the so that you have D side. Well, the reason why I thought it was a good
10 seconds remaining.
Is that LGD Sand King does a really good job addressing terrible
remaining.
That, and then Death Prophet offers a lot of pressure of her own. Death Prophet's not particular. Death Prophet should be able to do that pressure because they don't really have heavy.
LGD's turn to pick.
Yeah,
we can so theorize a lot about the drafts. That's sometimes teams go these drafting here. See, okay, they like to pick PL together with the Magnus.
10 seconds remaining.
Let's eliminate one.
5 seconds remaining.
I think you.
They banned out the.
I think
they're not really.
Yeah, Sand King could. I guess Sand King was played a bit. I think that lane should.
Dire
makes
team
his Bro Strike a
Shadow Demon.
Oh, that more so cancels out Terrorblades a bit. That's interesting. Probably banking. No,
that's also really good versus Zora.
Yeah,
that's
true.
Dragon Gates the heal.
10 seconds remaining.
Can't be dispelled to this.
5 seconds remaining.
Right now.
Because you continuously dispel all of this heal.
Promise, really isn't that great.
You may now select
never mind, we have a Brood Mother. Into a Sand King house, so you can itemize. Exactly.
Okay, it's hard to bet against Brood Mother. It's also hard to bet Flail based on what I've far this tournament. I still think, okay, if LGD survives the first, nervous that They have so much mobility with the same time to buy. If they get the Ags on Shadow Demon and PL's having a...
I'll get some hate from... even with... See the synergy.
Yeah, wait, so what is the lane then?
Exactly. You have IO.
PL should do fine there. Brood doesn't... At that point, say very happy to... Yeah, with your W, and then PL's perfectly fine to rotate. A lot of carries, Jug, Ursa that have early threat on you, they don't want to rotate to their lane, which means that PL would have nowhere to go. But because he has... They're going to make a quick swap with the same kill. I think they'll do... But I've also been surprised at how tanky...
Fair's final pick, final game in this series, Cap and Cop. I'll take.
So we've been trying to tell you guys some of the audio that we get here in the stadium, as sometimes the teams get a little hype, and that is obviously usually inside of the game when, you know, there's some game-winning team fights happening or something like that. But we actually heard a little bit from Nigma this time around during draft phase. That's because they got a nasty last pick mother, and MC was a little hype about it, wasn't he?
Indeed he was. Just let's go real loud, because he knows that this is an incredible pick, not just in this patch, in this tournament, but last pick Brood. Bear in mind, PSG LGD, we've seen in the past Shadow Demon Poison, very effective at scouting him out through the trees. They do have a Sand King, so you find him with a disruption, you could potentially just blow up the Brood Mother. However, I think we saw EG use this exact 1-3 combination. If you have Terrorblade and Brood constantly shoving side lanes, it becomes near impossible to play the map. And if you look at PSG LGD, they actually don't have anything but the Sand King capable of clearing out illusion armies and spiders, and not to mention you're going to have a GH Wisp potentially TPing his DK into fights or his Terrorblade onto stun combos. It's just a really nice lineup that Nigma have, and I enjoy the fact that they upped the Wisp in priority from second phase to first. And PSG LGD, you kind of have to ban Invoker. I still don't know how the hell you counter 20 Sunstrikes. And the Enchantress for Kuro has been just rock solid. So nothing wrong with their opening bans, but we'll see. They have a lot of percent-based damage now. You know, the Sunray, the drains from the DP. Will that be enough?
Do you feel like that's going to make... so I've been seeing this constant. This Dragonite is just a big problem. Most of the time we're seeing it off-lane here. Obviously, we're going to be seeing it mid because of the switcheroo with the Brood Mother. But it feels like that this hero is such a problem because it keeps on frontlining, and sometimes you don't have anything to deal with it. All this percentage-based damage, though, is that going to be making it a little bit easier to deal with Miracle? Do you think they'll actually be able to kill him when he tries to jump in?
Should be able to do at least a little something.
Yeah.
Definitely more answers in the previous game. And I think that's maybe why they felt... I would say it was likely Mind Control's hero until the final phase. But you know, last pick Brood, it's just too damn strong. Fit Beyond makes a little stun up top, but LTW should be fine.
Feels like this is one of those situations where Nigma had this in mind throughout the tournament, and they're kind of saying, like, eventually we're going to do this to somebody, right? We can always swear we've been saying offlane Dragonite just keeps on happening. They're the ones who set this all up, set the motion in for this meta of this offlane Dragonite, and somewhere in the back they're going like, sometime we're going to switch this up on somebody, and we're going to swerve, or that's going to go mid, and we're going to pick up a cheesy win off of a Brood Mother. But as you said, there are some answers to it, and I know you quite like the Phantom Lancer on the side of LGD when it was originally picked up.
Yeah, I just don't know how I feel about it after the Shard nerf. Yeah. The way we've seen it in the group stage, just not played out. I don't know if it's not played out properly. It's just not good. Doesn't look like it wins games. And the damage output for PSG LGD is going to be mostly the back of Nothing to Say. And so far, he's a bit behind in this mid lane. DK definitely favored. The damage reduction on the Q level 1 is enough to disrupt last hits Faith Beyond them, setting up first stun.
Here, we'll be able to get it. A decent amount of magic damage, but now the armor tank with a Fairy Fire as well. It's going to allow ILTW to turn around and kill Shin-Q. And even... Oh, Faith Beyond actually hit the Caustic Finale, but it wasn't quite enough damage. Ultimately, he does end up exploding as another creep dies, but he doesn't get to stick around for all that experience.
That would have been very nice, but still a double kill. And honestly, if you're Nigma, you're happy with that, because now your carry gets to come right back into the lane with more regen and a Wraith Band, full HP. Using Q, an immediate disrupt. Just looking for pressure.
Yeah. So Broodmother been picked up a fair number of times at this tournament, 12 times to be exact. Has won 9 of those games, 75% win rate for this hero. And that includes some of the games where people were trying to, like, first one to it. You know, we had a couple of those. Maybe it wasn't the overall last pick, like Nigma set it up here.
The thing is, though, you look at the team fight. That's the big difference. You know, that last game, Nigma had an overwhelming damage presence. That was what allowed them to just deal with the Undying, ignore the arena for the most part. Faith Beyond with a full bulwark toggle just actually couldn't stay alive. This game, they're really dependent on having map control, on getting a gold lead through map control. Because what is their team fight? It's 2 healers in the back, a DK stun, and 2 illusion/spider heroes. So you look at PSG LGD, they're going to drop egg. They've got real stuns. They've got a potential PL defusal wreaking havoc, plus the ghosts of nothing to say with a lot of self-sustain. So my fear is if Nigma get overrun, if suddenly these core heroes of PSG LGD find themselves on top of the Oracle and the Wisp, they can clean up fights very easily and get a bunch of bonus kills.
So definitely very momentum-based. So Dragonite taking early towers, plus the Broodmother just having a successful first 10-15 minutes. Sounds like those are 2 like very key points of victory for Nigma. And it all starts with the laning phase, which is going well for right now the Dragonite, 21-1. And bottom lane is being won by the Broodmother. A little bit lower on the CS, but then again, the Phantom Lancer is even lower.
Yeah, you can't really do too much as a PL here, especially with a Phoenix as a sheer support, because maybe you harass Brood, but he's just going to trade when he pops the Insatiable Hunger, get himself all the way back to full HP.
Yeah, maybe that matchup would have been different a long time ago when you couldn't lifesteal off the illusions, but now that you can, not even Doppelganger will stop this Broodmother from being able to heal up.
That feels like such a long time ago.
Yeah.
So many things have changed.
Faith on second level in Sandstorm, not trying to pick up. I was wondering if he was going to go a second level of Burrow Strike to see if they can pressure the IO a bit more, see if they can catch him out. But no, just focusing on more of a lane-winning farming build for our Sand King.
Yeah, it makes sense. Just trying to alleviate pressure, right? I think it was either Aoi or Effie talking about hang on PL.
Going for the kill here. Ame doesn't have anything to do here.
Either Effie or I were talking about Sand King as just a tower defender.
Yeah.
And if he's tanky, sits in Sandstorm under a tier 1, you know, Brood, TV, they actually can't really do much about it. And Miracle in a rough spot here. He's the only real kill threat.
Maybe slowed down by the Icarus dive and the disruption as well. So nothing to say, can set up with another round of Spirit Siphon. TP out for Miracle. Back to the base while his allies TP it into that tier 1.
You know, both teams, maybe top teams, they don't need stuns, Cap, because PSG, they have 1. I guess disruption kind of counts. And Nigma, same deal. You've got a root from the Oracle Q. Sure, it can interrupt TPs, but it's DK stun. So they're going to rotate back to middle. There's a nice exorcism right around the catapult wave.
Yeah, no, this is a great rotation from LGD. It feels like this is exactly something that Nigma was doing to teams. But it only does about a third of the HP of the tower, and Miracle just running past the creep wave here to start hitting the tier 1 in return. You can see both of these teams a clear objective in their mind. This mid tower being the most important thing on the map.
Yeah, but I am concerned for PSG LGD in their safe lane. That Broodmother is just about to hit level 6 this wave away, and then all of a sudden, I don't actually know where Ame plays Dota.
Yeah.
Like, you get a few waves of spiders up, Soul Ring spam, what are you supposed to do as the PL?
Now, this is definitely going to be a big problem at some point in time. Faith Beyond underneath the Sandstorm isn't actually leaving it just yet. Going to queue up the epicenter, going for the kill. Burrow Strike. Oh, no! It's a level 1 Burrow Strike, so he wasn't going to catch him there. And ILTW managing to heal up off of an early leveling of Sunder. Cute play by Nigma that nets them 2 kills.
You don't really see that very often. And using the... Man, ILTW... He did learn a little something in OG. The offensive voice lines have been on point. Using Nothing to Say's own words against him with aggro Sunder.
Yep. And nothing coming from the side of LGD. They do indeed have nothing to say right now. As they know their lanes are in serious trouble with them losing those 2 kills at top of the Broodmother, taking over the bottom lane. The Sand King is now going to rotate down there. But the problem being, Kyle, anytime I see a lineup that only has one counter to the Broodmother, I feel like you've lost. Now, I'm not going to say LGD is exactly that, but it's pretty close to just that, because Sand King, he's going to Sandstorm underneath this tower, protects the tower, right? Well, Mind Control controls everything else.
Exactly, and that's the trouble. It's not like you offer, Sand King, yes, you have a stun, but you don't actually have offensive chase. You don't have kill threat on the Broodmother. Typical heroes you like to play against Brood, Bat Rider, Beastmaster, Kunkka, because you actually can point, click, kill. Sand King, he's just going to get backlaned. Yeah, you'll trade farm, but to your point, MC is always going to get more out of the map, and he forces the one stun of PSG LGD to be visible in lane under his own tower.
That's a good beat, though. They did block the hard camp themselves with the sentry to limit the Broodmother's farm here. Another TP away.
It's beautiful. They see Sand King. Like they see the Sand King. He can't do that and interrupt TPs. If you disrupt the open, then he's going to TP away. It's child's play for Miracle.
At the same time, do you think that PSG LGD is that upset with that? Because if there's no Dragon Knight, then there's nobody who can stand in front of this tower. Yeah, they are going to get it with the Exorcism pretty cleanly.
Yeah. That's a good point. I think Miracle may regret he went base instead of to the tier 2. Probably could have not saved the tower, but at least alleviated some pressure. But up top, the Terrorblade's already taken the tier 1. And there is a gold lead for Team Nigma, along with the kills. 5-1. If you check out the net worth, it's 1,000 gold lead that Terrorblade has on pretty much everybody else. And MC also off to a great start. Miracle last in net worth in his cores, but he's not like he's having a bad game. Hasn't died, hasn't found a kill. Tread soon to be completed.
Use dust here. Oracle. He knows Fate Beyond. His only option out of this one is to be able to turn with the epicenter of the disruption going out. Sandstorm trying to kill as many spiders before he dies. Mind Control's low enough, though, that the poison will actually wipe him out. Nicely done by Shin Q. Showing up at the right place, right time.
Bit of a mistake from Kuro there. He accidentally got the disarm Fate Edict on the Sand King instead of his friendly Broodmother. That would have absorbed a couple ticks of the epicenter into no damage taken. The heal also would have probably saved MC. Instead, he'll lose his Brood. They do get a trade, but most unfortunate because he had spiders. He would have kept going. That would have been a tier 1 for sure. Top lane, careful. Ame's here, gets the courier, rushing Diffusal. This is your only play. It's what we discussed. They have to focus on their mid-game team fight and overwhelm the side of Team Nigma.
Sandstorm again, trying to defend. The dust does catch him here. Fate Beyond, he's being routed. Kuro behind the tier 1 tower, ready set up for the Fortune's End. That'll lead into the Dragon Tail stun, and also lead into a dead tower here. And LGD, you look at them, it's not like they're mirroring like you normally see and trying to pressure the other side of the map. I think they were very dependent on Faith Beyond to hold towers for them.
Yeah, but they're doing what they can, really. There's no way to fight. They had no Exorcism and no Diffusal.
Sure.
It's suicide to fight into Team Nigma, especially when you look at the items they've already acquired. I mean, GH has a full mech. It's on the courier right now, about to be delivered, and Miracle's skipping treads because he just wants a Blink Dagger. He doesn't have a full mech. Sorry, that was the Broodmother. I was like, what does he have the headdress for?
Dire's structures are fortified.
Okay, he had it queued up, but they said, you know what, we'll get it on MC. I can choose to go for a Rush Glimmer.
Okay, I mean, even just a value headdress does a lot with IO, right? Because the tether,
Dire's middle
healing amplification, everything. That's still okay.
Wonder what MC goes for next. Might just get a pipe from himself.
Battling it out here with LTW. Feels like he really wants to kick this Terrorblade out of farming area. Once again, Fate Beyond left with nothing but an epicenter and a Burrow Strike turnaround. But of course, he's going to die every single time, guaranteed. Relocate into the mid lane, but Miracle does die. As the bird goes down in this Supernova, it's going to be successful. They can't get close enough. They brought the Broodmother into this one. The False Promise is going to go down. That'll bail Mind Control out for sure. PSG LGD likely to back up here as to relocate back down to bottom lane.
It was a very scary move from Team Nigma. If they save Miracle, maybe that goes a bit better for them, but when they don't, they've got to be cautious. MC almost got popped just as he came back in.
Yeah, seriously, I'm not sure. When you have just taken the tier 1 tower, you're going to start spreading your webs deeper into the enemy side of the map. Yeah. Like, you're not really wanting to use any webs on the mid lane, and if you don't have any webs there, Broodmother's not much of a hero, so.
There's a bit of anti-synergy with the Wisp for that reason, where Team Nigma, they can fight around their Broodmother, but they really don't want to be bringing him into fights. No webs, no spiders, it's a grim situation. They have Ame, yep, he's going to have the Diffusal, it's on the way. so he'll actually be able to be an offensive threat. He can pressure this support duo now. His job is to run straight for Kuro and prevent the save, because if they go for the tether target, then he's just going to ult that and then spam heal on GH. Both heroes will survive almost guaranteed. They also have the added healing from the Broodmother mech, as they now clear off an easy mid-tier 1 MC. There's a Blink Dagger, rather Miracle, on his DK.
It's funny, Ancient Aberration, very early on, became one of the heroes of the meta. And I feel like this hero's only become more valuable because it wasn't even a Holy Locket meta just yet. That was just because there's a bunch of tanky heroes running around. The percentage-based damage was good. Also, these heroes naturally had like regen factors like Dragonite and Timbersaw. Now it's like, okay, Nigma's drafting double heal supports every time. Like, anything to stop this healing would be great, but there's not a super lot of options in the first 20 minutes.
I love this positioning, though. They have to play around their Brood, and they want the tier 2 to control outposts. It's only 13 minutes into the game. You take a tier 2, that's a huge XP lead. And how do you fight this if you're PSG LGD? You need positioning, and they're not going to get it.
Sunray burning out LGD. They're going to try and fight this one, even bringing Ame into this one.
What?
He relocated forward, but dropped the tether, I think, instantly realizing this was not a good jump. They did not expect PSG LGD to be there in force, and now, with the IO gone, it's going to kill their opportunity here. Nothing to say. Actually pops the Exorcism, thinking they were going to catch somebody there, but the Dragonite blinked away before any damage could touch him.
They got so much damage on the tier 2. A weird play there from GH. The kill would have been nice, but I think they were fine just posturing, beating into the tower. The objective was the goal, but Miracle may be a bit antsy as well. He wants to kill the Shadow Demon. That is the right target, but you can't really dive into a Death Prophet Phoenix lineup, especially with Epicenter as a threat. Faith Beyond had the blink, and it is just a real spooky place to be, but they got the Exorcism. That's huge. Still with Blink DK, he'll have no form, but they should be able to find a pick-off if they can jump quick.
He dive away before Miracle, he cannot. Dragon-tailed. Fall off Fortune's End, that was on the Dragonite. Yeah, Miracle tips Kuro for that one.
That was really well set up, man. They are just great Dota from both teams. Only a 1k gold lead.
Faith Beyond.
Scary, okay.
Weird situation.
That's because they have the tier 2 for free. This is huge. Will they get the outpost before the minute mark? They're going to try.
You're really obsessed about
that. They obviously prioritize it, Cap. Come on, that's a 3-man grab. They get it just beforehand. Every little bit counts. And GH
Dire's top tower
was kind of hovering around now, doing Wisp things. Mind control with the very early Greaves. The sustain on Team Nigma is nuts right now. And to win a fight, PSG LGD, they've got to somehow exploit the backline. They need a blink stun with PL immediately going in. Nice heal to save the creeps. You can see the Sandstorm still deals with the spiders very effectively. MC's got to be cautious. Now an Aether Lens on the Shadow Demon. Very effective tool against the Terrorblade. Just take your own illusions.
And then have an illusion battle. Not illusion. And Shadow Demon. Gonna be caught. Faith Beyond intercepting though with a Burrow Strike. Epicenter follow up. They see GH. They want to be able to kill him at the same time. Miracle's a good target. Supernova on the high ground. Miracle comes around trying to deal with that, but his only range hero, he will not be able to kill this egg. It successfully explodes. GH with a relocate out. Denied by the Burrow Strike. LTW will get burned up in the fire and flames as LGD punish a huge overextension from Nigma.
Oh, this time it's their turn to collect free DDs just outside of the Roche, but yeah, take a bottle. They're gonna walk in. What are you doing, Team Nigma? You can't. We saw that in the last game. The only way they lost a fight was a high ground tombstone. This time, Innovince just places his egg there. They can't kill it. There's 4 heroes surrounding it, but they get roasted. And Broodmother, he's got him. What happened to play around the Broodmother?
Let me just tell you, Kyle, new Broodmother was interesting to me. I was like, all right, I'm going to learn it. And the biggest problem in pubs, telling my allies, I'm not a hero that chips away at the tier 3 towers and rats anymore. I'm a team hero, and you have to play to my side of the map as much as possible.
It wasn't needed. Like, look at this fight. There's no way to win this. They don't even have the Exorcism. Perfect dive into egg, though. They have a ward, but they just can't kill it up there. You can see, they know. And the positioning, it's just GH wants to be so far forwards. ILTW, he commits because he's a team player, but, you know, once again, Nigma, they have 1 stun. If TB isn't there to deal damage, Miracle, he's Brown Boots Blink. He's not killing an SD by himself, and there is no Broodmother. I just boggles my mind. They're playing so well, they just throw away their lead.
I think they also had meta coming up in that team fight. I think I saw ILTW had used it, but it was at the end because he was a melee form of the Supernova weapon.
Yeah.
So that just means they don't have a timing for still another minute after losing a team fight like that. Yeah, that's got to hurt a lot, Kyle.
Indeed. They have the Nether Shawl. It's quite nice. Probably the ideal Terrorblade tier 2 item at this point because he's against so much magic damage and he has so much base armor. But this is spooky now. I like the build from Faith Beyond. He's got the 4-staff post-blink. He'll go bots next to deal with MC's split push, and suddenly things get really dicey for Team Nigma because once again they won't have that team fighting edge. They have healing, they have map control abuse, but right now PSG LGD, they're acquiring tools to deal with the split pressure. There's one of them, forces the Greaves once again to save the Spider Army, but that does mean he has to retreat. PSG LGD, they're making plays. They've got Exorcism in 20, but they don't even need to kill Kuro.
Yeah, they're going to be able to find him for free as he stumbles up onto the high ground and runs into 3 LGD heroes. Mind control, trying to do what he can, building into a pipe, but again, until he gets to level 20, when you get the spider talent, like then you're better at being able to hit the tier 3 tower, but before that, it's just rather slow.
And you gotta keep in mind, we discussed the issues that PSG LGD would have with Broodmother. It's actually worse for Team Nigma and the Phantom Lancer. The issue with this hero is when it gets somewhat lost in the mid game, but at this point, Diffusal Sanjinyasha, I don't care that he's 3rd in net worth, this will be the strongest hero in the game at 30 minutes. And right now, they've taken the enemy tier 2, that means outpost control comes back to them. Faith Beyond pops an Epicenter just to farm up some spiders at 185 CS in only 19 minutes, not bad, but I'd say at least half of that is thanks to MC.
Bot's almost done, especially if he sells the Quelling Blade, so he's probably thinking to himself, this is okay because he needs that to be able to join his team. Obviously, he really needs him, being, you know, the only stun.
Yeah.
So he has to both be able to defend against his Broodmother and be able to join his team at top for team fights, so.
And I also just, man, win or lose, nothing to say has been incredible all 3 games of this series. Just no deaths on this Death Prophet. Maybe one poor exorcism, but other than that, he has just been on point. And a great smoke now. They're looking to find the Brood.
This time around, they're going to catch. Pushing Broodmother. Nice Burrow Strike lead off. Phantom Lancer getting there. Managed to inhibit him, so the mind control is going to be slowed down. The relocate away. GH is going to be silenced. Nothing to say. Puts a stopper on that one. Both the supports denied their life-saving ultimates. And as they get burned out, ILTW blowing everything he has to try and turn around, but it doesn't make a difference.
Just beautiful pinch. They find the Broodmother. If that egg doesn't go off, maybe it's a little difficult, but you could see, just again, Innocence, the perfect swoop in the middle of it. It pops the egg, the added damage. Suddenly, Nigma, you can't commit. And unfortunately, with Brood targeted, like, there's no damage. He's mostly sustained. The 2 supports don't offer much damage. That's a Dragon Knight with just a Blink Dagger. He's no damage. ILTW, he can't do it all by himself. He's fighting into an illusion army, the Drains. If this Phoenix, just offensive disruption so good, and now this egg just secures the team fight. A 3-man silence as well from Nothing to Say. Miracle, yeah, he'll survive, but
it doesn't matter, right? It's ILTW that's most important here. It's the being able to reset off of the support ultimates.
And it's just all of a sudden Ame finds himself #1 in net worth and very much in control of this game. I just don't know how you're going to kill a Phantom Lancer here.
Yeah, Broodmother feels terrible at this point. When you've committed so much of your control to one side of the map, and all of a sudden you're like, I no longer have that. I'm now playing on my side of the map. And 21 minutes at that, you don't normally expect it this early.
Yep, and there's the Holy Locket on the Phoenix, more sustain. But, you know, in a different style of play, you know, if Miracle went for the no-one build, a double bracer Radiance, right?
Yeah.
Maybe things feel a bit better. You know that, hey, we're going to have this secondary scaling core that'll actually start to deal a lot of raw damage later in the fights. But, and it's not to question, you go Blink to play with they had a different idea in mind.
They have an early timing, no doubt.
Exactly.
Right? This Broodmother DK lineup, you're supposed to be winning at 25 minutes, so he shouldn't be going for a later game build, right?
Exactly. But I just think it all comes back to that one fight around the high ground egg.
Yeah.
Away from MC, who rushed Greaves. This amazing team fight item. He's not present, and it's not his fault. As you say, he's a Broodmother.
Yeah.
He can't be everywhere. And that gives the tempo to PSG LGD. The moment they get an Aegis on the PL, you can no longer fight into them as Team Nigma, and they have gained a near 7k gold advantage, all from just that one play. And I love this. The Sunray remember we learned about it, or at least a couple of us did. When you get the shard, you get a Sunray during egg. So it refreshes, you're in the egg, you cast Sunray. And when you pop out of the egg, you'll have another one. The added healing, 35% thanks to the locket. And when he pops out, he can also then just heal somebody. So, Nigma, you gotta either kill him or the egg. But again, that dreaded high ground.
Oh, managed to dive away just in time. Why? Getting a good Sunray out. Jin Q gonna be safe. He turns around, immediately pushes up. There goes the Supernova. They're gonna commit. Can they kill the egg fast enough? They will. Epicenter coming in, but Faith Beyond it. As soon as he goes in, he immediately goes back out. But still, they have to deal with this damn Phantom Lancer and that false promise. He had built up a heap of damage. And this Ame Phantom Lancer is totally untouched. Nice move by Mind Control up to the high ground before he TPs away. But again, disaster, disaster, disaster. That is what these team fights are spelling every single time for Nigma. They lose 2 cores and now support.
They have detection. Oh, no man of field? Okay, he got enough in time. Just, they kill the egg, but it takes so much of their resources.
Yeah.
And Ame, nearly a full illusion army. They got the ult off on LTW. You're going to see as it occurs. Why? Just a nice dive. Tons of damage from the Sunray. Full spirits out. And now you've got to ult LTW just to be able to finish the egg. But Ame, nothing to say. They're untouched. That's a 5 position. It's a 5-position Phoenix. And that's your only real, like, that's main target. It's just so easy then for the DP and the PL to do as they wish.
Yeah, it's funny how like the 5 position, his quick reactions and being able to dive away is the biggest play of that team fight, right?
Yep.
If he's a little bit slower and gets caught, he dies before he gets off a Supernova. That fight could look a little different, though I'm beginning to suspect that the Phantom Lancer is a bit too big.
Jin Q has Ags. Shadow Demon.
And now he's going to be able to break the Dragon Knight every single one at a time of these team fights. Physical damage ramping up now for the Phantom Lancer. Even through the BKB, you may be able to ignore that defusal, but you don't have any armor.
That's a crushing item.
Yeah.
And now the shard as well. Like, look, he's got an Aether Lens just because he's, again, illusions. That's the issue. They've identified the real just weakness of Nigma's lineup. They cannot deal with the PL army. So the shard now, double illusion, added cast range. As long as they have illusions in the fight, that's that. And right now, SD effectively just deletes Dragon Knight in his higher game. Break plus an extra 2 ultimates. I don't know what you do here. Team Nigma, they're going to need some real magic.
Yeah. The Nigma booth gotten real quiet since that's what they thought was going to be a big draft advantage that wins them this game 3 and moves them up to the upper bracket finals. But instead, they're getting dropped down to that lower bracket rather early, and that hurts their chances of being able to go to TI. Again, they need to be able to make it all the way to the grand finals. So having this extra life is so important for that journey.
Oh man, and the hardest road. They had to beat Virtus Pro, a tournament favorite coming in. They now find themselves against PSG LGD. And do you know who they play if they were to lose? Do you know who the loser of this series has to go play?
Who?
Runner-up from the last major, Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, that's a rough one. Right
After beating IG in the wildcard tiebreaker.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, how many final bosses do you have to beat?
What is our build on Broodmother? So I was thinking about this. The build-up? Yes. Okay, there we go. He's going the Shard. I think maybe he needed that earlier. The Shard being able to give the AoE miss percentage chance. So when the Phantom Lancer ever doppelgangers, you use that against him. Puts the 80% miss percent chance on him and all of his illusions. It's a huge way to be able to play against illusion heroes.
Okay.
So
that's a good point.
Really need to see that item picked up soon.
Doesn't kill them is my only concern, Cap.
Oh yeah. They're still going to be there and they're still going to be doing things, but at least it can mitigate the damage a bit.
Crow's in some trouble.
Yeah, he's dead.
And that's why you pick PL. As soon as they saw the Oracle, it's rough because
it's so hard to play against him. Yeah.
You don't have any way of actually dealing with them, and he can non-committally pressure you, right? His real hero wouldn't even have been necessary, theoretically. And now they just camp the pit. Roche up 20 seconds. Miracle trying his best to split push. He does have a BKB closing in on the Aghanim Scepter.
Okay, so that'll help.
Yeah.
We'll have a little bit more AoE damage.
Yep.
But this is This is supposed to be an additional solution to Phantom Lancer when you're ahead. Unfortunately, this is an Nigma lineup that is 9,000 net worth behind.
It's one of those problems, like the benefit of hindsight, right, allows you to point out a flaw in Miracle's build. Yes, he probably could have gone for more damage early on, maybe like an armlet build, right? Okay. So that he could scale a bit better, maybe even a Maelstrom, so that if they missed their timing, they wouldn't just straight up lose the game at 30 minutes. But again, they're not playing in that way. They're trying to win a game at 25 minutes.
They played to win. Like they did game 2, they said, we're going to hit a timing to end the game, and they did that successfully. Unfortunately, this time around, they may have missed that timing.
It definitely feels that way. Into the pit goes PSG LGD. Really tough to contest.
Yeah, I have to imagine that, well, maybe one of their ways back into this game was contesting Roshan, but apparently that's not the case here. So maybe Nigma are looking at a longer, drawn-out game as their best opportunity to be able to bring the comeback here.
That's possible. Net worth only really tells half the story. If you want to toggle hero level for me, you'll understand the big issue is that right now you've got 2 PSG LGD cores with their level 20 talents, and the supports even with a huge lead. The Phantom Rush range is amazing against heroes like Oracle and Wisp.
He sees you, he's rushing at you, and 5 seconds later, you're dead.
Yeah. And now an Arcane Rune and a Shiva's on Nothing to Say. That's also what Faith Beyond has queued up. They'll have 2 of them shortly. And, you know, another thing that Shiva's gives you nowadays, keep in mind, reduces all heals, regeneration and lifesteal by 25%. So always with these tools and reducing healing, which is effectively the entire Nigma lineup's draft concept, is out sustain.
Yeah. The sad part is Miracle. There's a chance that he gets to his Aghanim Scepter before he's even level 18. Nothing to Say is going to go ahead and cripple this little split push thing that they got going on at the knees by being able to cut one of the creep waves, while the rest of his team is pushing forward with a smoke.
Oh, they saw that though. DK form pop by Miracle. MC doing what he can. The Micromaster, he's just trying to keep PSG LGD's creep wave away from his base. But they have one creep.
Pulling him back with all these spiders.
They're gonna pop Exorcism. That creep died though.
Dire's middle
they need this wave.
It's coming out. Exorcism still out.
Still backdoor. That was an Arcane Rune, keep in mind. They'll have another up shortly.
Backdoor protection now down. The creep wave's here. The tower falls very quickly. Glyph is gonna go.
Radiant structure.
PSG LGD, though, not exactly resetting. As you could see, Ame sending his army evolutions forward. The Glyph is now gone. Exorcism will help them finish it off. They're going to keep this going. Maybe the Doppelganger to remove that reflection. Hitting the melee barracks. Nigma, they're again just trying to cut creep waves. They are desperate for any way to be able to stall this game out without taking a team fight. It's not going to happen. The melee barracks, one hit, and there it is. Ame manages to claim it, and now they will start retreating.
Yeah. I mean, Nigma did everything they possibly could through all resources, save perhaps a kitchen sink, at PSG LGD's creep wave. But as you can see, they're relatively ineffective at actually hitting heroes. They were just kind of delaying the inevitable. That Rax was always going to fall. Ame's just far too tanky. The Satanic for the cleanse and the added sustain. He's just pointing. It's tough. He has Aegis still for another 2 minutes. They're just going to walk top, and there's a creep wave ready to go. They had that Arcane Rune on the DP, so he has ult up in just 10 seconds.
Yeah, LGD's like, you want to talk about timings and pressure? How about this one, Nigma? We're going to go for a second lane of barracks. See what you can do about it.
Yeah, immediately. They have to fight through double PL. Second Exorcism.
They're just sitting there watching this happening because they can't really formulate a good way to take this fight. Miracle's looking for an opening here. Watching him, Spider Legs up through the side. He really wants to be able to catch the Shadow Demon or this Phoenix, but Mind Control's in some trouble. Zombie's beginning to chase him down. Now they're going forward. Miracle's going to attack the back line. ILTW pushing for Jin Q, but a disruption. That's going to be able to buy him a little bit more time. Supernova going up. They do manage to get off a Sunder onto Nothing to Say. They're dealing with the egg at the same time. The egg does explode, but ILTW needs to be able to get a relocate back to the fountain. He does live. A buyback now for the IO, but Miracle is in so deep trying to kill that Shadow Team, and Jin Q lives through it all. He dealt with the initiation, he stalled it out with the disruption, and he lives through the end of it.
Yeah, now there's the PL illusions. You can't deal with them. Really, I was going to say PSG LGD, their supports are so far back. Miracle, the reason he was furiously farming was to get the Aghanims.
Yep.
Maybe the cliff walking will allow him to position to get the SD, but you can see they just didn't have the damage. And the splash is not enough. The illusions are too tanky. Double Shivas on the side of PSG LGD. They're just going to rinse, repeat, wait for the cooldowns.
Jeez.
Xinq, he is just enormous. It's hard to find like the MVP of this PSG LGD lineup because when they win games, it just feels like they all understand their job. They are playing just near flawless Dota 2.
Yep.
And if you're Team Nigma at this point, you need a miracle, and you already have one on your team, and he's not enough. So,
what's the shard on Shattered Demon? I've forgotten about that one. Oh, that's right. You can cast it on allies.
Nice heal. Pretty good at dispelling, I guess, offensive Fate's Edicts and Reflections, and the damage reduction from DK's Fire Breath, and Silken Bola from... Okay, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
He's put that on Ame. I mean, don't know what's real, but so what?
Yeah, even just the heal is kind of interesting idea. That's for sure. I haven't actually seen that one in action yet.
Well, you got 3 of them, and only really 2 great targets.
Sure.
I think... I can't remember. I had a discussion with Insania, I think, about it. SD versus Oracle relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
I mean, this game...
Where did
it felt like it was lost, right? You needed an all-in play.
Okay. This might not be over just yet. Top net worth is still Terrorblade, and it's a little deceiving. It's a 15k gold lead, but check out the supports of Team Nigma, right? A lot of the gold they're behind is on the support relationship.
Yeah.
The cores are still pretty close. They gotta get back to base, though.
Throwing out that Silken Bola, trying to slow him down. You can see the misclick percentage is doing something here, but it really feels like it's just delaying the inevitable. Now to Doppelgangers, Miracle jumping forward, going for the death profit, immediately does get the disruption. No, they do have the Fortune's End going after. Okay, no, they're going to have to back up here. It's Ame, they're trying to deal with Ame right now. The False Promise is going to be used on the IO. Oh no, ILTW got bursted down. There goes the Divine Rapier. That damage happened quick and fast. So much magic damage. It overwhelms Team Nigma. It overwhelms ILTW. And my control rather will play out his life on top of the throne. GG is called LGD. They are moving to the upper bracket finals.
They certainly deserve it, Captain. A great series. The Rapier comes out. A lot of oohs, a lot of ahs. Probably some chat spam, but that elation lasts only about 30 seconds because ultimately this PSG LGD lineup, it's just... They're too strong. They have no answer to the PL. Doesn't matter how much damage you deal if you can't stick to a target, and they had just the one stun on Miracle DK.
In this grand chess game that was LGD versus Nigma, would you agree that it felt like LGD